Did you turn on Pop? Is he alive? So what Pop.
Hey, Pop is back with us.
Great.
I have that effect on people.
Oh, Pop is mine, isn't. I'm great. One day I'll return to streaming and it'll be great.
I was watching your wife on the Daily, not the Daily Show, but like she was doing an interview with Jon Stewart, AOC.
Huh? I know. I knew who you were referring to.
I just wasn't sure, just wanted to make sure we knew which wife.
The many wives.
I'm giving Henry VIII the run for his money.
Oh hey, where are my captions? What the hell?
Oh, we're live. I did not realize that. You said we were. Yeah. So yeah, my pin code is. Everyone, just help yourselves to my millions.
I would love that,
Yeet.
thanks. I would immediately buy a Highland cow. And then maybe like a farm so I have a place for the cow.
Priorities. You can keep it in the living room until the land clear, until it all clears.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. And if your landlord comes to yell at you, just throw him like a couple bucks. It'll be fine. Tell him to get out your face.
Mm-hmm. Got you. There we go.
My God. That was. Do you require medical assistance?
Great.
Not sure.
Title the book, summary, and then this I don't know, a detailed summary? Why
Yeah,
Addie chose the book.
All right.
yeah, that's the rules.
So the book we chose was, or the book I chose was Cinderella Is Dead. It basically follows the world of Cinderella 200 years after she died.
Addy,
Hello?
Can y'all hear me?
we can now.
I hear you now.
Did anything I say go through?
After 200 years of yeah.
So 200 years after Cinderella dies,
R.I.P.
You're gone again. What are the secrets you can't tell us?
I don't know why this keeps happening.
Well, I heard you that time, by the way.
So what has come through and what hasn't?
So you cut off again as soon as you said 200 years, and then I heard you again when you said, "I don't know why this keeps happening."
200 years after Cinderella, the king decides to force all the young girls to go to balls to kind of mimic the story of Cinderella, and they are forced to basically be chosen by any man who wants to choose them. And we follow the story of Sophie, and her story as her.
Gone again.
How much?
We followed.
Most of it?
We followed the story of Sophia.
Yeah, we follow her. That's the general plot of this book.
And why did you choose the book?
So I was looking for. Yeah, there's background stuff. I don't want to keep having to come in.
Uh,
Um, I chose this book for looking for a good fairy tale. Um, just happened to be one of the ones that were highly requested. Yeah. I guess we can start with, unless y'all want to say something, we can start with like how the story goes, or
Oh, how far did everybody get in the book?
I finished it.
finished it.
Peter.
Well, okay. So I was reading it on my phone, okay? And because the phone screen is smaller than the average e-reader, it had 601 pages.
Wow.
So I made it to page 209 of 601, which I think is damn good, right? Just me.
Well, when we're going through like the summary of like everything that happens, tell us when we catch up to where you stopped. Because I want to know what you think happens after.
Okay. I will admit, it did go places I didn't expect it to. Like, I'm at the bit where she's just met
No!
Candace. Oop, no, okay.
No!
Okay.
Spoilers!
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I've said for many years that my life will end at Jam's hands, and I thought that moment was today.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
I deserved it.
No, you didn't.
Any hoozles.
Yeah, let's start.
Oh, one more thing I should add. We are 2 for 2 for getting authors to show up. Do we want to try to get? No? Are
Don't
we sure?
summon them.
We could attempt to summon Kaylee? Okay. Please cut this bit out of the VOD. I'm like, yeah, her with the book and the stuff. Okay, sorry. I will be quiet now. Okay. So, Addy, where does the book start?
So we start off, I think, in a forest with Sophie. I keep wanting to say Sophia, but
Is it not
Sophia.
Sophia?
is it
I'm sure it
Sophia?
is Sophia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sophia.
I am 99% sure it's Sophia. I could
I'm
be wrong.
100% sure because I'm looking at it.
And I don't know where I got the name Sophie from, but Sophia's like in the forest with, I guess we assume, her girlfriend Erin.
Mhm.
And they're hiding from guards because they're basically not meant to be out of the city. Um, Lost my train of thought.
That's
But
okay.
yeah, we kind of just go from there, and they try to escape the guards, and don't
I don't
remember a whole lot of what
remember.
happens in the chapter one.
Let's see.
So Sophia has asked Erin to meet her at this specific place, and Erin is a bit sketchy about it. She's like, "Why did you ask to meet us here?" Why'd you ask us to meet here? And then guards come, and it looks like Erin's going to get captured, but then Sophia takes off and runs home, but Sophia doesn't know that Erin's made it home safe, so they go, so Sophia goes to the town square.
There was also, like, another woman that was hiding in the forest. I don't know why she was in the forest, but then she had run off, and then the guards went after her instead of going after Sophia or Aaron.
Right, that's right. I'd forgotten how they gotten away, and I read it like 24 hours ago.
Now that I think of it, I wonder if never mind. That's end of story thing. Next.
Um, from like chapters 1 to 7 is just a whole bunch of preparation. Chap- Chapters 1 through 7, or maybe a bit more, was basically just preparation for the ball, them going around town and dress shopping, kind of. I don't know
Yeah.
how in depth we want to go into that, or
I
Victoria,
like
Megan says she can't hear you. Oh, sorry.
oh no.
Oh no, not your
Okay.
properties.
Okay, now it should be fixed. I keep switching my mic to default instead of my mic. Yay, fixed. Alright, should we talk about this ball?
Yeah.
I think it's important to say that Sophia and Erin and also their friend Liv are... Look, Sophia definitely is against the ball. Like, everything
Yes.
that she does in the lead up to the ball is very anti-going to the ball. Like, she does not give a single shit about it. And in fact, she's kind of afraid. In fact, she's very afraid of it because should we describe it? Let's describe the ball. Who wants to take describing the ball?
Alright, so I think first...
Horrible.
Yeah, horrible. All girls are invited when they turn 16. So Sophia and her friends, I think this is Liv's second year going?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is Liv's second year going? Question mark?
Yeah. It's Sophia's first, so Sophia is 16, Liv is, I guess, 17, Aaron is it Aaron's first one as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And then Aaron is also 16, which is crazy ages for what happens in this book. They are so young.
Yeah, because this world is 200 years out of the story of Cinderella, like the actual novel of Cinderella, and somehow, I was going to say somehow, but you don't need to imagine too hard, this world has become a really horrible place for women to exist. Like, women are absolutely subjugated. They're literally being kind of traded to men at the ball.
Yeah.
And they have zero choice but to go, or else they get sent to workhouses.
They
Is that what
get
happens? Get executed?
they get arrested. And so
Right.
at this point, we don't know what happens when someone's arrested. We just know as a female, you have to show up, otherwise you're arrested. The men can go whenever they want.
Yeah.
So they don't have to start going when they turn 16. They can wait until they're like 22. And the whole point of this ball is like to find a husband, basically. So then you have these older men who are now attending for their first time with 16-year-olds. It's just totally not a problem.
It's very gross. Like, at one, flashing forward a little bit, when they get to the ball, Sophia's like, there's a man as old as my granddad there, and he blows a kiss at me.
Yep.
Was it also said that they only had like 3 chances
Yeah.
to get chosen?
And then,
horrible.
yeah. So basically, women have until 16 to 19. A little later on, Sophia meets a character who's 20, and he's just going for his first time now.
they essentially use a story of base their entire lives around it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And literally the best women can hope for in this world is to find somebody who's, quote, this is from the book, a good man. That's the best they can hope for, because not all men in this world are good.
Yep.
Yeah. There was one thing about the ball that confused me. Not really the ball itself, but like, so I mean, there's obviously different classes, and not everyone's rich enough to afford like an amazing gown for this ball.
Yeah.
And so Sophia and her friend Liv and Aaron, like, they can't really afford much, right? But there was that issue with Liv, which like we'll find out later, where she's like not praying, but wishing that she's visited by a fairy godmother to grant her like a beautiful ball gown and, you know,
Yeah.
carriage, I guess. And like, I was wondering, why can't she use the dress from her first year? Because she would have had one, right?
I think
Point.
it's frowned upon to rewear dresses.
How would they know? Who's gonna remember that a year later?
So yeah, also have to remember there's a lot less going on in their world. So those are the things they fixate on, is like,
That's true.
you know what I mean? Like when people did go to balls and stuff, it was very much like, who's wearing the latest fashion? Oh, I remember her last year. She was wearing that dress. She must be poor if she's wearing it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like nowadays, it'd be like, I don't fucking remember what I wore last week.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like very like a status thing, and like especially like the shittier people who actually really care and are like, I need to make people's lives miserable.
Yeah, but there's a point, and we'll get to that when we get to the ball. There's a confrontation with a lass at the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to that. But first we need to introduce Luke. Where does Luke come into it? Who is Luke? Tell us somebody. Tell us
Oh,
about
I
Luke.
was say, Megan actually brought up in Bridgerton, the same thing happens when Penelope's family loses money. They have to rewear dresses and try to like rework it, and it's a huge deal because they're all
remember.
like nobles and shit.
Yeah. I remember like watching, because I watched all the British and loved it. And I was like, you guys really care that they're re-wearing the jewelry and like that dress, and maybe they changed like one thing about the dress and you're like, ugh, that dress again? Like,
Yeah.
god damn, how much money do you have?
I don't even think, I think it's partially that, but also like they just don't have a lot going on. Because like as women, they're not allowed to work, they're not allowed to do anything, right? So
Yeah.
all they have is their social life and their status, and so that's what they fixate on because that's what they can control.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that kind of seems very similar to this world.
Yeah. Oops.
But Luke is, I believe, the son of the neighbor. If I
Yeah,
remember
Mr.
correctly.
Langley.
Mm-hmm.
Luke is cool. Luke is great. Luke comes out to Sophia.
Yeah. One of my notes about Luke is gay. Wants Sophia to be his beard.
Was it like the first few notes of them sounded kind of sketchy?
Yeah.
He kind of. He's not exactly eyeing her up, but you get the idea that he's. Before he comes out, but he's like, oh yeah, me and this lass on a carriage ride together by ourselves into the woods, browse.
Yeah.
But then he comes out to her, and it should also be mentioned that Sophia does not trust anybody, anything. Like, she's sitting on the carriage beside Luke, and she's actively plotting ways to get herself out of trouble if he tries anything, and that's her mindset through everything that I've read. Like, she is just always on alert, always looking for something, looking for trouble.
Can't trust a single man.
No.
Exactly.
I mean,
Hashtag
that's
slash
understandable.
patriarchy.
I'm trying to look. I know I have a note about Luke, but I think it's later on when they're in the ball.
Did we want to talk about the seamstress? Because
Yeah.
not like the big scene,
Yeah.
not the big scene, like when we're first introduced to her at the dress shop.
Yeah, let's talk about
Like
her.
at the fitting?
Yeah.
I
So,
don't remember a whole
seamstress.
lot of what happened at the fitting. Besides, we noticed bruises on her neck.
So, like, the seamstress is, she's running her business because it's her business and it's her work, but her husband gets all the money because that's the rules. And basically, she's running it at a loss at this point because not everyone can afford the dresses. So she's like, pay what you can. And so Sophia meets the seamstress to do her fitting. And then she, at some point, has to go back there the next day because the mother says that she forgot some ribbons at the seamstress's place. So go pick them up.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Sophia returns, she overhears an argument between the seamstress and the husband. And then the child, because they have a kid, is just like hiding somewhere in like the actual shop, and I guess they have an upstairs, which is their living space. And so brave Sophia goes up there and like I guess distracts the husband by saying like, "Oh, I'm here to get my ribbons. Can you help me find them?" So the seamstress comes down to like help her out. Um, yeah, that made me so angry. I mean, most of this book made me angry.
Yeah, like there's very few redeemable characters.
Yeah. So part of what the husband says to Sophia is that he can have her arrested just for literally anything.
Yeah.
And that part was, I was just like, oh my god, like she really, like there is no winning. Like you try to help someone out and it's like, I'm gonna have you arrested just for being here and being a patron of my wife. Like,
Yep.
so fucked up.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucked up things in the world. This world in particular.
So yeah, and then she leaves.
Yeah. Well, so like the seamstress, their child's a boy, and like he was crying for like most of this, the whole scene, right? Because like parents are fighting and dad's specifically violent. And the whole time I was just like, I really hope he doesn't grow up to become one of those men.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that's just how their society is. And it's like, I hope he remembers that fear and doesn't become a horrible person. But that's also like, I don't want him to be traumatized, but he is.
Yeah.
There was a line in that section where the mother says to the boy, like, "You'll grow up like your father," and the next line is, "The boy did not look happy about that," or something similar.
Yeah.
So we should reveal a little bit about Luke as well, is that Luke is gay and he's in the closet and he had a wee boyfriend, Lewis? Question mark?
It was Lewis.
It was Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Lewis got sent away by Lewis's parents, but Luke managed to hang around because his sister convinced his parents that it was just a phase, which was also a bit of a stomach churning thing, like, oh, it's just a phase, he'll grow out of it.
Yep.
There was another small character introduced on the way to pick up the ribbons. Morris.
Oh, Morris and Robert, his brother.
It was. I didn't write his name down.
Yeah.
He's not relevant.
One of
Was
them
it Morris
does,
the one who told on Lewis and Luke?
I believe it was. I don't know if they had found out or if I honestly don't remember what happened. I just know Morris was like the one that was really bullying him about that situation.
Yeah, and Morris goes to say Lewis's name, but Luke literally punches his teeth out, which Sophia thinks is quite cool.
And it should be mentioned that Lewis, I guess the boyfriend, was given up as forfeit for being gay.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that Luke says to Sophia, and that kind of helps him gain her trust a little bit. But Sophia's still a bit like, I don't know if he's telling the truth, if this is just a setup. I don't know. Because again, always got her head on a swivel, always looking around.
She's always ready.
Absolutely, and we hate this for her, but we love a prepared queen.
Mm-hmm.
So the ball finally arrives. everyone gets dolled up, and they get in a carriage, and Erin's in the carriage because Sophia's parents and Erin's parents went in together to rent the carriage. Also, look at how pale this hand is compared to this hand. That's bizarre.
That's pretty crazy.
So, I just noticed that, sorry. So, in the carriage, Sophia's trying to make like a final ditch plea to Erin, like, please come with me, let's go right now, we can escape. And Erin was a bit of a bitch here. I'm going to call out Erin for this when she's like, I don't want to go with you, I don't like you in that way anymore. And it's like, come on, bestie, what are we doing? You know you do. Why are you saying this?
She kind of is the whole book.
Yeah.
Yeah, she never really, at least the bits that I've read, reciprocates Sophia's affections, at least publicly, and I can kind of understand that in the world they're living in.
Yeah, but I mean, because we only see that side of Erin, I wonder if she had ever reciprocated Sophia's feelings, or if it was always just kind of like a one-sided, like actual
Yeah.
love for Sophia,
Yeah.
and then Erin was kind of just like, I don't know, in the moment. Just like, oh, it's fun for now, but like this isn't actually serious.
I wondered that as well, because far be it from me to question their love, but I did wonder, like, what behind closed doors, what Sophia and what's her name? Erin relationship looked like. Like, there must have been something to keep Sophia interested, but also maybe it was just enough. Maybe Erin was giving just enough where it's like, okay, this is a thing, I'm going to keep trying for this.
Liam might just been the one gay person she met and kind of clung to that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I did wonder about Liv at one point, but at one point Sophia says Erin's the only person I've ever kissed, and I did wonder if maybe there was a little history with Sophia and Liv, maybe a little bit of ooh-woo.
I don't know if
But
we ever
apparently
find
not.
out much about that.
We don't
Because
find
they're
out a lot about Liv at all.
No, she's just there.
She has like one purpose and one purpose only.
Yeah, which we will get to.
Yeah.
So everyone gets to the ball, and Erin's made it clear in the carriage, like, listen, just you do you, I'll do me, carry on as we are. And Sophia is absolutely crushed. And they get to the ball, and that's when you start learning more about the males in the society, because the males are the women line up on the floor, and the males line up on tiers. Like, at the very top of the tier is King Manfred.
Yeah.
And then on, like, the next level is some rich hoity-toity prick. And then on the next level down is kind of the average Joes. Like, they've got a couple bucks, but not much. And then the next level down is where kind of the poor people are. But it's made clear that even the kind of poorer men are above any status the women may have. And that's where the scene came in, which we mentioned earlier, when there's like a grandpa looking at Sophia and is like, at her. It's like, brother, what's that? Brother, So that's when the selection begins.
I think another thing to note is Luke said he wouldn't be going to the ball,
Yes.
but during this time we do see him standing along with the other men.
Yeah, Luke is there, but why is Luke there? What is his purpose?
And then
What is his
Sophia's
deal?
like, oh my god, did he lie to me?
Yeah, exactly.
She starts
Head on a
second
swivel.
guessing everything that he said.
Yeah. Which again is fair enough. Like, the world they live in, I would be like, you said you weren't going to go. You can go when you like. What are you doing? Head in a swivel, Sophia. We love that. Well, we don't love it for her, but as I said, we like a prepared queen. So at that point, the king comes out. And who did you... We'll get to casting and whatnot, but when the king came out, who did you picture in your head as the king?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like a picture in my head type of person as I'm reading.
Yeah.
I don't picture like actual people, like actors and actresses. It's just, for me, it's like drawings. So I just imagine generic animated Disney king with a beard.
I can see that.
Beard and crown.
I imagine him as like a really short guy, like Lord Fuckwad in, and I'm gonna say like Lord Fuckwad because that's his name, like Lord Fuckwad in Shrek. That's who I imagined, like a literal short king, and he's doing all this to, size is an issue for some men.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So the king comes out, and he's kind of prowling around being a dick, and then he spots Liv, who, spoilers, the fairy godmothers haven't come for Liv, and she's just wearing, like, it's described as like a basic kind of white gown, like not as done up and dolled up as the other women, and the king rips the piss out of her. He's like brother, and shit like that.
Yeah, he was really mean.
He was really mean. Like,
he was like, how dare you come to my ball dressed like that? Like, who do you think you are to not take this? Like, he just really ripped into this poor teenage girl.
Yeah. And in a world where she has literally no choice but to go,
yeah.
She's like, what do you want me to do, mother? Well, it would have been nice if she'd have been like, what do you want me to do, motherfucker? But obviously she can't say that. So the king has Liv taken away, and that's the second last time we see Liv alive.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened? I read it like 20 minutes ago. You'd think I'd remember, but I do not.
Well, we can go into the ball now, because I think after they do the introductions of like all the men and the lining up and everything, they kind of just go into the actual ball so they can be chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And Sophia talks to Luke, and Luke's like, I'm gonna choose you, and then we can have more time to plot our escape.
Yeah,
and
they just want to run away. Oh, so yeah, they just want to run away together, but not together.
Yeah. Not together, but together.
Not together, just together.
Yeah. So Luke
like,
goes to do that.
I choose you, throws a big Pokeball at her.
And I was so happy. I was like, yes, they can make a plan. They're going to be safe.
Yeah.
Of course not.
At first, I didn't even think they were going to try and, like, he was going to be like, yeah, let's run away. I thought it was just going to be like, let's live together as a couple, but then we actually just don't do that together. We'll just, like, pretend so that we don't get killed. I didn't realize he actually also wanted to run away. Like, well, I didn't think that's where he was going to go with it. I thought that was interesting, that he also was like, fuck this place, let's run.
Yeah. So, when Luke's, like, off to do... Oh, sorry, do you want to say something?
I'm going to say, this is one of the times when I'm about to take a big old crap on this book. At this point, there's a couple of big craps I need to take on it, but at this point, I really need to, because all through everything, you're basically told you can't say shit. Do not say anything out loud. Fucking nothing, not a word. And Erin even says that at the ball. It's like, don't say these things too loud. People are here. People are listening. And so that's cool and dandy, but then they literally start like, oh, we're going to escape. We're going to run away right in the middle of the ball. And it's like, could you not go to the side a little bit? Like, just little thing. That's just a little thing, though.
Fair. Maybe they were, like, dancing together and whispering in each other's ear.
Yeah, I thought they were kind of like...
I thought they were on the side.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That they had kind of, like, stepped aside and had that conversation. And then the two bullies from before came up to them and were like, hey, who do you think you are?
That's right, yeah. Morris and Edouard came up and...
Oh, that was insane.
Sophia throws he literally picks up a glass, dunks it in the punch, and throws it at the guy. I was like, outstanding. Like, not just slapping him or something, like the extra effort to pick up the goblet, dunk it, and then throw it. That's the extra mile, which I appreciate.
Well, my notes jump from there to her leaving.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, no.
Yeah, I know. Oh, no, sorry, I did talk about Liv as well.
So, wait, hold on. So, like, Luke goes to make a claim on her, and he apologizes for having to word it that way, but that's how it's worded.
Yeah.
And then we find out like Morris punches Luke or attacks Luke. I don't know what he does, but
Yeah.
Luke's on the ground because he says, I'm making a claim on the same girl, on Sophia, and because of the rules and I have more money and more status, that's like she's my claim.
Yeah,
Which
'cause I think,
obviously Sophia's like, nah, and she leaves.
yeah, 'cause I think Luke and Sophia were literally on their way to go tell whoever they're supposed to tell. That, like,
Yeah,
yep,
Sophia had gone to the bathroom or powder room,
Yeah,
whatever
powder
they call
room.
it.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then Luke had gone to do the claim.
yeah.
And then there's a commotion, and then everyone comes out of the powder room and sees Luke on the ground, and Morris is like throwing a tantrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't. Oh, sorry, Addy.
We kind of find out here that Morris's family is really tight with all the royalty and the king, so they can't really fight against them in this situation.
Yeah.
Yep. Of course, they have a bratty child.
Yeah. And not cool brat like Charlie XCX, just brat.
So yeah, at this point, Luke is taken by the guards, and he goes through the same door that the guards had taken Liv. I think we might have skipped
Yeah.
over that part, but the guards take Liv away because she's
Yeah.
such a disgrace for not having money.
But at that point, is that when the door opens and we see, it's mentioned that there's like an old lady with white hair? Which is
I believe
important
it's that
information later
point.
on.
Yeah, I think it might be when they take Liv, but yeah, I think that's where she sees the old lady.
Because I thought they'd already taken Liv, and then Luke gets taken through the door, and then we see an old lady taken away by the guards, and spoilers, that's Liv.
Or maybe it was when like Sophia had actually started to run, like escape.
It could be. But I know we see an old lady at some point, which
Yeah.
I didn't twig until later on was...
A clue?
Yes, a clue, but also what's her name? Liv. That's the lady. Yeah. So, at this point, Sophia is like, fuck all y'all, I'm out. And she goes... What does she do?
She goes home.
What?
No,
No,
she,
she
No,
goes
she
to the
doesn't.
school.
I jumped ahead. I jumped
You
ahead
jumped
like
way ahead.
only like 10 pages actually.
An important 10 pages, though.
Yeah.
A lot happens. So how does she... Because she goes to the powder room, and that's when she's like, I'm out of here. And she tries to escape out the window, but a guard catches her. But what is it that makes her want to run in the first place?
Well,
It was that Morris was claiming her.
yeah.
Okay.
And like the whole thing with Luke and her being like, "Oh my god, it's even more corrupt. I'm leaving." So yeah, so she runs away, and then she finds herself at Cinderella's grave.
Like you do.
Yeah, which like you would think for people who absolutely love Cinderella and love her story, like they would do like pilgrimages to her tomb, but it's just
Yeah.
abandoned.
Yeah.
I wondered
getting
how
kind
that
of-
happened.
We're getting kind of close to the end of my experience with the book. I'm kind of around this part, so this is
Yeah.
where I rely on you guys.
I mean, I was surprised that like 200 years is a
think-
long time, but it's not that long
Yeah.
for everyone to totally forget where this tomb is of the person you basically think is God.
Yeah. Like like Sophia's grandmother
Yeah.
said she went to Cinderella's grave, which is only like a generation or two behind.
Yeah.
Behind the current day.
I mean, to be fair, what do we remember from 200 years ago?
Well, we know where like the important graves are. I personally don't, but people do. And people do
Yeah, other people
pilgrimages to them, right?
Yeah.
My thoughts on that were it was Manfred hiding it from everyone because he didn't want them to know the real story. Isn't there something saying like her grave was somewhere else than where it actually was?
That was her home. They were saying her home was like in past another section of forest, but it was actually somewhere else. And so the home is like pretty much abandoned because nobody actually knows where she lives anymore.
So I think it said Sophia didn't know where the grave was. She just happened upon it.
Yeah, she stumbles upon it completely by accident in the middle of the forest. I mean, I've lost track of the times that I've been walking through a forest and I've stumbled across somebody's grave. It just happens, you know?
Yep.
But it
It'd be
is
like-
weird. I think that Manfred was trying to hide the grave because like when Sophia gets there, she sees like there's a bunch of papers on the ground with like these prayers to Cinderella.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know when the last prayer was, but it's like, I don't know. How did some people suddenly forget or
Yeah.
stop going, or like why? If they were
Yeah, a
doing
lot
it
of that
before, it was
didn't
fine.
make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
made people just stop going? And it's not even like the forest is kind of thick. It's described as being thick, but it's not described as impenetrable. Like there's not fences or anything around it.
Yeah.
You can just go for a walk and find it.
It's guarded, but like not very well, clearly.
All right, Peter.
So
Since this is where you got, do you want to talk about who Sophia finds on the grave?
I'm a little, yeah. This is kind of where I tag out because in the tomb, Sophia is just vibing and is like, "What the hell am I gonna do?" And Constance appears. Who is Constance? Brr. I do not know. She's just a pretty lass, and it seems like Sophia is getting the vapors for Constance. She's all like, I do declare about Constance. Because she says how nice Constance smells and how pretty her red hair is. And in the tomb, she also discovers Cinderella's glass slippers, which were a thing.
Yeah.
And which was one of my favorite lines earlier in the books. Sophia's like, glass slippers are a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, hard agree. So Constance kind of knows everything. She's like, oh, you're here. Good to see you, buddy. And Sophia, head in a swivel, is like, who the fuck are you? And Constance seems to know everything already. And Constance gives her, like, clothes and stuff. And is like, listen, you have a snooze here beside a dead, rotting body. And when the sun comes up, just yeet 5 miles across town and come and see me. 0 concerns. And Sophia is like, can do, buddy. So it said that she doesn't sleep. So that means she literally just sat awake all night next to Cinderella. And I wonder if she tried to do like a ventriloquist show. Because there's a marble Cinderella on top of the grave.
Mm.
And so I wonder if she was like, how are you doing, Cinders? I'm alright, how are you? Oh, it's a bit chilly in the forest tonight. Yeah, it is. And that kind of thing. That's what I'd do if I had time beside a corpse, but who each their own. So at this point, Sophia sneaks home, and there's a guy in the living room with her dad. Who is the guy in the living room? I didn't get that.
I think like a guard, just some dude. I don't know if he's actually
just
a
a guard.
guard.
Yeah, he's a guard.
Okay. So her dad's like, look, there she goes. And the guard, being a fucking dipshit, is like, let's go. And the guard buggers off.
Literally the oldest trick in the book. Look over there.
Exactly. It was exactly like, look over there. Don't look behind you. She's behind me, isn't she? That was fucking hilarious. Like, a trained palace guard falls for like, what's behind the curtain? It's fantastic.
Just
10
like a
out of 10.
3-year-old.
Exactly. Like, I can't see you, you can't see me.
They really aren't the brightest.
They're really not.
There's just like so many moments in the book where I'm like, you know what? I don't see how Manfred's been able to keep control with these bozos in his employment.
Yeah, they don't seem very sharp. It's like he is clearly the brains of the operation, which isn't saying much. Brains is a relative term.
Yeah.
So the guard, fucking off he goes, and Sophia is like, I'm so angry at you, rah rah rah, and her parents are like, no, we are the ones who are so angry at you, and shit like that. And Sophia's like, are you just gonna kick me out? And her dad's like, yeah, fuck off, hit the bricks. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. And
It wasn't that harsh. Oh my god.
The dad was pretty harsh. So before, when we had met her dad, he was very understanding and very like, oh, you're so much like your grandma. Because her grandma was also very rebellious, very anti-establishment. And so you start off the book thinking that like, oh, her family, like, they understand her side of it, but they want to keep her safe, so they follow it anyways.
Yeah.
But then when it comes down to it and she's like actually in trouble with the castle, the dad was like, no, like, you can't involve me or your mother. You need to get out. He actually tells her that they'll forfeit her if she stays. And then the mom is like, no, we can't do that. And he's like, no, we have to. Because otherwise we're going to get killed.
Yeah, I've seen T-shirts fold slower than this guy folded, talking about giving her up. He just fucking crumbles like that.
Yeah.
I love my child. She's in trouble. Screw that child. So Sophia is like, well, fuck all y'all. They kind of say, look, we won't say that we've seen you, but fuck off. And that's the deal that she takes. And so Sophia goes into the woods on her way to meet Constance?
Yes.
Yes. And somehow, because book logic, finds an embankment where there's a couple of guards talking, and they're like, oh no, this woman's so old. They said she was 17. She was at the ball last night, but she's old. What's happening here? Let's go get the cart. So while they conveniently bugger off to get the cart, that's when she looks and... prepare your sad faces. It's Liv. I think that was perfect.
Thank you.
It's Liv. Liv is not a Liv anymore. She is Liv dead. RSVP Liv.
Yes.
But Liv has been aged. Like, she's now an old. And she probably fell down the embankment on her way to get more World as Original. Who can tell? Telling the youngsters to get off her lawn. And she's just... Yeah, so she's just randomly dead in this random ditch. Like, way outside of town as well. Because Sophia's on the road at this point. And she just happens to come across Liv's body in this ditch. Book logic.
There's
So
a lot of
guards
book logic in this book.
Yeah, but there was a couple more big dumps I have to take on it, book logic. So the guards come back and Sophia is like, oh no, my bestie. She actually says that, oh no, my bestie! Exclamation point, quotations. And the guards are like, she's old, she's dead, fucking hilarious, fuck you, dead woman. And there's this one guard who's like, fucking keep your shit to yourself, shut the fuck up. And then they take Liv away, never to be seen again, I assume, because that's where I kind of check out. That's me, I'm done.
Yeah, so when Peter said that she's old, like her hair is now white, her skin's all wrinkly and gray. Like she looks like she is now 90 years old. When just the other day, she was her young, vibrant 17-year-old self.
It seems like only yesterday she was being made fun of by the king.
Yep.
And now that I think about it, like, that one guard that was, like, the line he said it was, that's somebody's child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder, like, now that I finished the book, like, did he know what was going on? Because the other two were just like, there's no way this old woman was at the ball. I don't know why we're dumping her body. But he's like, no, that's somebody's child.
Yeah.
What do you know, sir?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I was thinking just maybe he also had a child who was, like, taken.
Yeah.
And is like, at some point my kid's also gonna be dead, and I don't want someone to treat my kid like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that you bring that up, Jam, that's very interesting wording.
That is an excellent point. Because that is also kind of it's a few throwaway lines like, oh, people have gone missing, oh, bodies have been found, somebody tried to blow up this fucking thing in town, but it's very throwaway, you don't really pick up on it.
Yeah. I will say...
Also thinking of closer to the end of the book, do you think Manfred planted her there?
Liv?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
I think he had already, like, instructed them to, like, just dump the body there, like, wherever. I don't think he knew where Sophia was going. Because I honestly think at that point he was just being careless because he's already gotten away with it for 200 years. Like, who cares? Someone else will come across his body.
Yeah.
I don't think he was even thinking of Sophia yet. Maybe, like, a week after he didn't find her. He's like, what the fuck? But not, like, the day after.
Yeah, I don't think he was thinking of that. I think he's just got lazy, like you said. He was just so used to it. He's like, no one's gonna question him. Even if someone did find it, like, what are they gonna do?
Oh boy, here I go, dumping bodies in the forest again. Yee! So this is where I'm kind of out. This is where I kind of got to. Oh wait, no, because Liv. No, not Liv. Liv falls asleep for a long time,
yeah.
but then Sophia falls asleep as well. And it's hours later, and that's when she goes to meet Candace. Constance. I will get this lass's name right at some point. So she goes to meet Constance, and I'm out. I don't know what happens after that. I am now officially out.
And they lived happily ever after.
And Sophia forgot all about Erin and moved in with Constance, and they were wee lesbians in the woods together, and they raised sheep and planted vegetables. The end. 5 stars.
Not too far from the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's spin the wheel. Who's doing the next book?
And you did that in way less pages than this book is. Oh, Peter's done.
I feel like that whole part up until Sophia finds Constance is like, part 1. The part that I love the most about the book.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, it was downhill from there for me because I was upset.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm very intrigued to hear your guys' final thoughts on the book as a whole.
Okay.
I'm excited. I want to see if you guys feel the same way I do about some of it. Alright, so Constance takes Sophia to Cinderella's house. Ooh.
Oh, is that what she
Tells her
does?
some government secrets.
Yeah. It's very run down, as Jam has said. Constance has made a camp there. And it is there she reveals to Sophia that she is actually related to Gabrielle, who is Cinderella's stepsister. She is technically Cinderella's 6th great niece.
That is not who I thought Constance would be.
Yeah, she has flaming red hair.
I was
Also-
convinced she'd be one of the fairy godmothers.
Oh, that would have been nice.
I have a question about Constance's description. What is fawn skin?
Don't know.
I think it
Okay.
just means like pale and like soft? Question mark?
Maybe.
Check Google real quick.
Because there was quite a few like descriptions for skin tones that I had to Google, and it just felt very much like first novel. I'ma use big words that don't actually make sense.
Yeah.
Not that fawn is a big word, but it's not a common way of describing skin tones.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Google's like literally giving me pictures of a fawn, and then
Oh, because I think the other one was tawny. I had to look up what tawny skin was, but that one's more common. I'm just stupid.
yeah, tawny's more common. I've never heard of like fawn skin.
Yeah. I also had to like, you know, when you can highlight a word in a book, I had to look up what like the round thing that Sophia puts on. I had to Google what that was because they call it whatever it is they call it, and I'm like, the fuck is that?
These people, there's so many. I don't know, man. Google's showing me different skin tones.
Same.
So I
Maybe
don't
that's
know.
what it means. I kind of just glazed over that. I was like, probably not very relevant.
I think at that point it's just because I was already being pretty nitpicky that I was like, what? Like, oh no, you know why? It's also because last month when I got a character's like skin color wrong, I was like, I need to pay more attention. And so then as I was paying more attention, I was like, wait a minute, I don't know what that means. That's how that happened. So anyways, that was just a little detour. I needed to know if I was the only one who didn't know what that meant.
So Constance is Cinder's 6th niece?
Sixth
sister,
great.
did you say?
6th great niece. I don't know how that works on a family tree, but that's okay. Someone does. And then I
can't
have
math that at all.
Prince Charming was this. Oh, so when I started taking my notes on page something, I was like, this is a cult. And so then in my notes, I just keep referencing it as a cult.
Referencing what is a cult?
Just like the whole King Manford thing. Just the way it was like,
Oh,
they talk about it and stuff. It's like very cult like mindset of like, do not question the leader. The leader is always right. If you go against him, like you'll get killed. So
Sounds kind
Yeah.
of familiar.
yeah. So if you hear me referencing a cult in my notes, that's why. So he was the start of the cult. And then Cinderella's parents rebelled against it. He killed her mom and her dad. And then in the palace approved story, it says that like the stepmom and stepsisters hated Cinderella. And that's kind of like the one that we know more as well, is like they looked down on her, they used her as like a servant, blah blah blah. But what Constance is telling her is that that's all wrong. They actually loved her like a sister, and they took care of her, and they were also rebels, and they were also trying to bring down Prince Charming. And I think one of her things was like, who names their kid Charming?
I highlighted that. So I was like, I haven't thought of that.
Yeah.
He's like,
That
have
was
you
his
ever
actual
thought
name.
about what kind of person would have a child and name it Charming? I was like, that's true. I have not thought of it.
And then I jump ahead 30 pages, so I don't know if someone wants to take over from there.
My God.
Yeah, my notes are all over the place.
Let's see. So Constance is like going into detail about like Prince Charming, essentially, and like I have a bunch of notes I probably should have read it ahead of. But there's this, it's not a rule, policy in the kingdom. Basically, when the king gets old, a different king is chosen from another city, village, wherever, that nobody knows about. And this is where the king comes from. And so, like, I had a bunch of notes like, what do you mean? Like, is he not giving birth to these children? Where is the king coming from?
I somehow skipped over that entirely. I don't know how I missed that.
I noticed that as well, because it's like it's not like passed down from father to son to father to son, as most kingdoms are. It was literally they bring in a new king, like, okay, here he is. Move over, old man. Which is a bizarre way of running a kingdom.
Yep.
He says, living in Great Britain. There were Canadians in our empire, he says.
Yeah, so, like, at that point when she's talking about the king and like that, I'm like, how old was Prince Charming, first of all, when he met Cinderella? And, like, when Prince Charming dies, and I think the next prince is Eustace, I'm like, how old was Prince Eustace? So, like, at that point, I'm like, there's something weird going on here. And there's that description of like a very, very pretty silver gray, it's like a tree that's in the back of like Cinderella's house, backyard, courtyard. And then we find out that was kind of magical. Magic had been used there, which is why it looks amazing, and there's a bunch of flowers sprouting. Anyways, so the two of them spend the night there, and they decide they're going to come up with a plan because they need to know more about what really happened that night. Because at some point, Constance is saying when Cinderella went and she got married, at some point she tried to come back to tell the stepsister something, but as she was trying to say it, the guards like escorted her back to the castle. Like they found her, captured her, brought her back to the castle. So they're like, we need to know more about like the actual history and the lore, and the only way to do that is to find someone else who was alive at that time. So they go on a hunt for the fairy godmother.
Oh, before that.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I have a note from page 160. It's a quote from Sophia to Constance saying, since I've been here with you, blah, 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 blah. I didn't write down the rest. But I wrote, girl, it's been one day and you're already obsessed and over Erin. Chill.
I have a note on that too. I was so annoyed. I was like, I can't actually find the note because there's so much in here. But I was like, teen hormone. Yeah, here it is. Teen hormones be crazy. Now is not the time.
Like, it was just...
Like, you just broke up with your kind of situationship, and now you're in love with this strange woman.
Like, it was just... I forget... Oh, God. Now I'm gonna, like... I need to know what it was... The context of that whole thing.
I did want to ask if Constance and Sophia did a wee bit of smooching in the forest. Because I like them together more than Erin and Sophia together.
Well, they do some smooching at some point.
Ooh, they
Um,
smooching.
so this was like specifically a scene where like I guess the fireplace was lit and
Yeah.
Constance was, I don't know,
She looked
changing or
she
something.
looked extra beautiful.
Her muscles. Wow.
She's like, since I've been here with you, I've gotten a glimpse of what it's like not to have to watch what I say or pretend to be something I'm not. And I'm like, girl, it's been 2 hours. Like, you haven't known her for that long. Like, if you put it all together. So, like, maybe take a chill pill.
Like, it really has been like a day since the ball. Less than 24 hours by my gathering.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like at that part, like that specific part of the book, it became more of like more fairy tale to me. You know, like
Yeah.
you see someone for the first time, it's like you immediately like fell in love at first sight. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We're in for that kind of a ride already. Because it does, like, they don't take their foot off the brakes after that point. It just keeps going like that.
It's just accelerating straight into a wall.
Yeah.
So they Thelma and Louise it.
Pretty much.
I don't know these people.
I just know the reference. I haven't actually seen the movie. But
Oh, it's okay, don't worry.
I know of the reference, but now that
Yeah.
I think about it, like I don't actually know.
It's actually a very... I haven't seen it in a few years, so I don't know how well it's aged, but it's very, very good. Like, one of them, I forget if it's Thelma or Louise, is like kind of free-spirited and shit, and the other one is married and lives under her husband's foot, and
Oh.
one night, one of them catches the other's husband going to assault her, and I forget if she kills him or just knocks him out, but
Ooh.
one of them kills / knocks out the husband and is like, let's fucking go, let's fuck off. So they steal a car and drive across the desert and run away
I
together.
was like, I'm gonna watch this.
I think
yeah,
you'd like it.
I think we need to do a movie night.
I think so. It's
Yes.
kind of implied that Thelma and Louise are a wee bit gay, but it's also, I don't think it's ever explicitly said they're going to get together.
How old is the
If
movie?
memory
'Cause that
serves.
might be why it's just
Or
understood.
at least
1991.
late 80s, 1991. I did not know it was that young. I thought it was 80s, but okay.
It's older than I am.
Soon we
That's
won't be
saying
able to say
something.
stuff
I
like
know.
that.
I know. I hate it. Oh, God.
Well, that being said, the film will keep aging, so as long as you just keep watching Thelma and Louise, you'll always be younger than it.
That is true.
How do we get onto that? Oh, Constance and Sophia.
Yes.
Alright. So my notes go from there to when the king goes to town.
Oh. Okay, hold on.
What town is this? Is
I-
this Lille? Lily? Lille? How would you pronounce that? Spelled Lille. How would you pronounce that?
I've been saying Lil.
I have also
Yeah,
been saying
the
Lil.
audiobook says Lil.
See, I wasn't sure if it was like Lille in France, because my head's been switching between like Lille or Lille or something.
So before the king goes to town, I mean, it's on the way. So Sophia and Constance, like, dress up as men and head into town because they need supplies before they head into the forest to find the fairy godmother. And they see some shit.
I see lots of
In town.
shit.
Uh-oh,
Shit
what
goes
kind of
down.
do they see? Who goes down?
Shit goes
Some
down.
shit.
Oh, shit goes down. I thought you said she goes down. I'm
Nah,
like, okay.
shit goes down. Alright, so the king goes into town. Oh, my notes just jump right to the point. He gives this big whole speech about how dare you people think that you can defy me, blah blah blah. I'm the king. You have to do what I say and nothing else. Screw you, bitches.
Wait, he's saying that because Sophia ran away, and he's like, "How dare you raise a rebel on
Yeah.
my on my grounds? You people that I allow you to live on my property."
How dare.
And so he accuses the seamstress of giving Sophia money to escape. And I think he brings out the husband to be like, has she been giving you his money or her money? And he's like, no, she's been stealing it and keeping it for herself. And that's when the king's like, you know you're not allowed to have it. You're supposed to give it to your husband. And instead of denying it, the seamstress says that she would do anything to help people get away from him. She didn't.
Whoa, that's fighting talk.
And she didn't actually give Sophia anything. Like, she could have tried to deny it, but she was like, nah, fuck you. You're an asshole. People need to get out of here. And he beheads her in the middle of the square.
R.I.P. seamstress.
Yep. So, yeah.
Whose name we never actually learn. She's just the seamstress.
Yeah.
Miss Bassett.
Oh, Miss Bassett.
Oh, she did have a name.
Oh God.
At least a last name.
Terrible.
At least someone knew her name. And then,
Well, we never found out Liv's last name.
No. One of my notes is that, like, her characters are very two-dimensional. Like, they serve a purpose, and that's it. And then once that purpose is done, like, you don't hear about them again.
Yeah.
And then my notes jump to page 182. So,
I like that band.
Is this
Yeah,
where
my
she
notes-
goes to meet Aaron again, or is this later?
So that is later.
yeah, I
Is
think
that later?
so.
No,
I think
hold on.
so.
Yeah, that's later. Because they're in like the forest for a bit, and then she's like, "No, I gotta go talk to Aaron to make sure she's okay."
Oh, this is when the guy comes up to them. Comes up to Sophia and
the
Constance.
Fender.
Yeah. And he's like, you don't look like men, you're too pretty. Or no, or was that before? When she was trying to buy stuff?
I think it was
There's kind of like some questionable stuff when she was buying the rice, but then he comes back.
Oh, okay. So yeah, before the seamstress thing, Sophia's buying rice, and she's trying to like cover up her voice because she realizes she doesn't know how to talk like a man. And the guy she's buying rice from clues into it and is like looking at her suspiciously. And then I guess it's after the seamstress thing that he comes up to her again and is like, I knew it. I knew you couldn't be a man. Although, maybe he's just gay. It's okay to think another man is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, he comes up to her and, like, Constance ends up defending her and I think, like, knocks him out.
It's kind of weird that he just leaves his stall unattended to do that.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's, like, guards all over the place at that point because of the beheading.
I don't know. He's just like,
Case
no
the
one's
head
stealing my
runs away.
shit.
Yeah, then Constance and Sophia are now ready to go to the woods to meet the godmother, or to find her.
Mm-hmm.
They call the White Woods or something else like that.
Yeah, I think it's the White Woods. That's what I put, but I think I was also guessing as I was writing because I didn't want to go back and check.
There is, the bit I read, there was talk of a White Woods somewhere,
Okay.
but I don't know where or when or how
Well,
or if.
3 out of 4 hosts say it's the White Woods, so it's the White Woods now. We're changing it. This is the part where I wrote, like, the only quote that I wrote that I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, was when Constance was talking to Sophia and they were getting ready to set up the distraction for the watchtower. And Constance says, take the risk, light the fuse. I was like, that's a fun line.
That is a fun line. That's a call to power. That
Right?
line.
I was like, that would be on, like, their little rebel signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or get it like tattooed so you identify each other.
Right?
Are you lighting the fuse? I don't know. Are you lighting the fuse? Oh, I'm lighting the fuse, motherfucker. I'm lighting the fuse too. When you touch and activate. I'm making up a much better story than you actually got.
So yeah, they basically like light a bomb. And that's why she's like, light the fuse. So they
Oh,
do
it was
that.
literal lighting the fuse.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
I thought it
literal.
oh, I
No.
thought it was
Because, like,
metaphorical.
the way into the forest is guarded, because I guess there's other, what's the word I'm looking for? Vendors, I guess, that use that route if they have to. And so Constance had also stolen a letter from the king that gave, not them, but another 2 group of people permission to go through. So they had that, but then they also like had their distraction to get through.
So they light shit on fire. And then they get in. Yay.
Hooray.
So they find their way into the White Woods, and there they run across some wolves. This part I didn't take notes on. I'm trying to remember it.
There's
And-
a crow, a really big crow that's just
Yeah.
like out every now and then.
Yeah, he's watching them as crows do.
Just a big ass crow.
Yo, crows are like ridiculously smart. There's a crow on my TikTok that keeps popping up, and he says tickle tickle, and it's the cutest thing ever.
Seen that crow?
I love him. He is so
Such
cool.
a deep voice.
Yeah, it sounds like a demon, but I love him. So yeah, this crow is not that crow, unfortunately. He does not say
No.
tickle tickle.
So they're in the forest. I think they say that they kind of feel a bit tired and just a little confused while they're in there. And then there's the sound of wolves, and it sounds like it's getting closer to them. And eventually, as they're going deeper into the forest, it gets too thick for them to bring their cart through. So they try to just bring the horse, and then the horse starts to get spooked later on because of the wolves and just general weird forest vibes. And so they hear the wolves like getting closer, and they just book it, and the horse books it. I can't remember if the horse makes it. I don't think it does.
No. They say
First
later
live.
there was like its skeleton was there.
A whole
Yeah.
skeleton. Just
First live, then
Oh,
the horse.
eight.
What kind of horror is this world?
But yeah, so as they run, they find their way to this shack in this little clearing in this creepy ass woods.
If you see a faded sign at the side of the road that says 15 miles to the love shack.
Not that kind of shack. And then we get a description of this woman that's like coming out of the shack. And then the crow, I think, lands on her or near her because that's her familiar. And guess who it is? It's the fairy godmother.
da, 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 da.
Quote unquote fairy godmother.
So then they become a throuple and they become wee woods witch
No.
lesbians.
The fairy godmother's old as hell.
Yeah. So this is where they learn that every single king that they have ever had is actually Prince Charming. It's the same guy.
Wow.
Da da
Okay.
da.
How did he do it?
Is he like regenerating or something?
I actually
Been a king that looked like David
definitely
Tennant?
something. I this is exactly where I called what happened. So that twist
Yeah.
was not a twist. I was like anyone would have seen that coming.
As soon as that was said, I was like, but Liv, the old woman Liv.
Yeah, I was like,
It's like,
okay.
you know what's going on.
Yeah. So the fairy godmother / witch / her name is Almina. Says that she had drugged Cinderella when she went to the castle. So we had talked about how like Cinderella and her stepmom and stepsisters were rebels. The original reason why Cinderella went to the ball was to actually kill Prince Charming. And the fairy godmother knew this, and so she drugged Cinderella to think that she loved the prince, and into thinking that they would be happily ever after if they got married.
So, fairy godmother's story had me conflicted for a bit.
Yeah.
Before I found out what I found out. But like, so she starts it by saying like she lived in this village with her mother. Her mother taught her magic, and they used this magic to help their village, and everything was sunshine and rainbows. But one day the villagers were like, fuck this woman, her magic's evil, we have to kill her. And they were gonna burn her at the pyre. And then this man came out of nowhere and saved her, and this man was Prince Charming. And so she helped Prince Charming get on the throne by causing like a plague and droughts
Yeah.
and, you know, bad crops. And I was like, you know what, that's valid because these people did try to kill her. But then the ball happens, and I think, yeah, he's just being a dick. And then Cinderella shows up, and he's like, I want Cinderella, and then she drugs her, and I'm like, I'm not on your side anymore.
Yeah,
And Constance, like, the whole time is pissed at her, and I'm like, at first I was like, chill out, Constance. These people did it wrong.
yeah.
But then it's like, no, you drugged this little girl. You are straight to hell.
Yeah, because the witch's logic was, oh, if the prince gets what he wants, he'll be a better king, because then he'll chill out, because he'll feel like he's loved. Which is, like,
Yeah.
the most
Let's
toxic
make the
shit.
man happy.
Yeah, the most
Exactly,
toxic shit I've
right?
ever heard. Oh, this man's an abuser? Yes, let's give him someone so that he feels love, and maybe then he won't be so abusive. That's crazy. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so we find out that this potion that Cinderella drank, it obviously did, well, not obviously, it didn't last forever. It lasted a month. And then she was rioting. She was trying to, well, she wasn't trying to kill him, I don't think. She was, like, locked up in her room in the not tower, but, like, in the castle.
Yep.
From the sounds of it, towards the end, it looks like her room was in, like, the dungeon.
Oh, I thought Sophia had, like, run out of the dungeon and eventually found herself into, like, a nicer part of the castle.
That's what
I
I
didn't realize
thought.
it was, like, adjacent to the dungeon.
Yeah, I thought she just kept running and found herself in a different area. But at
I
that
thought it
point, I
just,
was
like,
also
a
just...
room in the back that
It might have been. At that point, I was, like, flying through the pages.
Yeah, I just wanted it to be done.
that was at like 3 times reading that.
So
We're all flying through the pages.
the room was somewhere in the castle. That's all that matters. Where is debatable, but you know what? I'd be shocked if the author knows.
Yeah. Well, backing up a bit. So, Fairy Godmother tells all this to these two young ladies. Constance is losing her shit because how dare you do that to Cinderella? What the fuck? And how dare you put this man on the throne? And how dare you be alive for 200 years and not do a goddamn thing about it?
Yeah.
And there was, like, some things I had highlighted for that. Because I actually had enjoyed, like, that back and forth between Constance and Amina. There's this one part where
Nothing.
there's one part where she's, like, saying, like, the fairy godmother, which bitch, was saying, I made a mistake. And then, well, she says, I made a mistake that cannot be made right because I can't. And then she stops herself. I can't make it right. And then Constance is like, you haven't even tried. I was like, yeah, bitch. She hasn't tried.
Call her
What
out.
the fuck? Why are you here for 200 years? You haven't given a single fuck about these people. Why are you alive? This is a great question we'll get back to.
Yeah, be better, Fairy Godmother.
Why are you still here if you're not going to try?
Yeah, my notes jump up to page 230-ish.
Well, that
Where-
quote was on page 232 for me.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes my notes, I'm reading, and then a couple pages later, I decide I should take notes. So I just start from the page I'm physically looking at. So they're not the most accurate page numbers.
Now would be a
Not gonna
good time to
lie.
ask.
Yeah.
I stopped taking notes at chapter 7.
Oh.
That's fair. Because I'm reading on Kindle, so I
Yeah.
guess my page numbers aren't the same as, like, the physical copy.
Oh, that's true.
I'm not sure. For me, that was page 232, but I don't know.
I mean, it's
Chapter 23.
It's roughly the same.
Okay.
And then I have the part where the type of magic Sophia wants to use, where she wants to become a necromancer to summon Cinderella and ask how
Valid.
to kill the king. And
I'm sorry, fucking what?
this is the point where I was just like, what is happening? Like, I had to stop and, like, write down different thoughts, because I was just like, what is going on in this book? But we can come back
think-
to that.
I think Amina mentioned like necromancy, and then Sophia was like, can we ask Cinderella how
Yeah.
to stop him?
Yeah, because they're, like, looking at her magic book or something, and there's a section of it that's, like, sewn shut. And Almina's like, no, we can't. I can't do that type of magic. It's wrong.
Okay, bitch. Whatever
Okay, you don't
say.
do it. I'll do it. Step
Yeah.
back. Step back.
So they eventually convince her that they're
yeah.
gonna do it. And she's like, okay, we can do it. It did not take a lot of convincing to be like, which maybe should have been a red flag. Because I feel like if you want to think you're a good witch, you don't just go around raising people from the dead for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, as soon as I said that, I was like, it's not really for shits and giggles. It's for a purpose. But I feel like it still should have been, like, more convincing than, like, a page.
yeah, because I mean, if she's already been there for hundreds of years, and now these two random women just walk, well, girls,
Not,
just
yeah, I'd
walk
say
into
not
the
even
forest
women.
and talk to her. Yeah, these two girls walk in, and they're like, help us, and she's like, okay. Like,
Yeah.
what?
It's like, not only am I going to help you, I'm going to tell you some of the real story that you did ask for. But also, yeah, sure, let's raise the dead. Why not?
And on top of that, like, she also says, like, they're not the first people to have gotten into her shack. Like, she's been
Yeah.
visited by other women who have asked for, like, you know, help finding
Yep.
someone to be chosen out of balls. Like, she could have undid what she did at any fucking point,
Yeah.
and she did not.
She knew what was happening. Alright, so they go to Cinderella's tomb. They break it open.
Before that,
Oh.
while they're still at her cabin, the king shows up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no,
I totally skipped
king.
over that.
not the king.
Alright, Addie, you want to talk
Um,
about it?
I don't remember what they talked about, but basically he showed up and was saying stuff like, where is she and all that, because somehow he knew she was there.
So,
What were you saying?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, from what I remember, like, they were hiding, or Sophia had heard, I think, the wolves going crazy, and then Amina went out because she realized the king's coming, because he's the only one that just, like, suddenly visits her. So she asked them to hide in the cellar, and then they were talking, like, Amina with the king. And I don't know if the king had knew that they were there, but he knew that Amina knew where they were, so he's like, where are they? And like, why are you hiding them? I don't remember what he said after that, but I know he left.
Where did they hide while the king was there?
I think
Just
it was
like-
a cellar.
Yeah, just like under the floor.
And then
This king's a
Constance is
fucking
like,
idiot.
immediately like, you told him we were here!
Yeah. This book's pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
So the fairy godmother just like texted him, "Guess who's here? Lol."
Pretty much.
He sent her crow.
I was gonna say, is that her crow that did it?
Maybe. Who knows?
Did the crow serve any purpose in this story?
No.
I don't think. Yeah.
The crow was just like a spooky witchy thing. You
Yeah.
have a familiar. It's following you through the forest. It's big and scary. That was it. The crow didn't do anything. Oh man, I hope this author's not here.
I hope she is.
That's kind of why I was like, don't take her.
Hey, it was published, so
Yeah. It's fine. So they go. Now do they go to the tomb?
yes.
Okay. So they go to the tomb. They crack it open.
They see the remains of Sophia's earlier puppet show.
And inside, they don't see bones and dust or whatever you would expect after someone's been dead for 200 years. Her hair is white. Her skin is... I wrote transparent-ish, but I think that's just because I couldn't remember what it actually said. I'm pretty sure it was just gray. Basically a spitting image of Liv. And then...
I'm sorry, what?
So you know how they found...
Like, he has the same look
Yeah.
as Liv did when she was deceased.
She looked like an old
Oh,
lady,
okay.
even though she was only
Oh, I
like...
thought it meant. I thought it
Oh.
meant like she was Liv somehow.
Oh, no,
Oh.
sorry. No, she just had
No,
that
that's-
same old
Ah.
look.
It's old as shit.
Although that is a description. It's like her hands are withered, the nails yellowed and cracked, and every inch of her skin is a pallid gray color. Her appearance is almost identical to Liv's the morning the palace guards hauled her up out of the ditch.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I think she said that Cinderella was like 35 when she died. So definitely not like old 90-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Then they summon her back from the dead. There was also some like scene before this where they had to go into the pond and they were naked.
So
Who's
they're
naked?
going. Constance, Sophia, and the fairy godmother do this spell where they go into the pond in order to see their future, sort of like get a glimpse of their
Yeah.
future, just to see if that helps them out.
That's
Yeah. Although I can't remember if that was before or after. But it was probably before.
I feel like it was before.
And
And while
so,
they're there, do they look up the next week's lottery numbers and just buy their way out of trouble?
no. The fairy godmother, I don't believe she says what she saw. I don't think Constance says what she saw either. Or maybe she does, but it's not very
don't
detailed.
remember.
And Sophia says she saw herself with the king and there was like a light and she felt like she was dying. Wonder why.
I think the fairy godmother said she saw her death.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she did. She didn't say how she died. That would have been helpful.
No, that would be too easy.
Am I not joined to your stream? Because it's asking me to join, but I swear I joined.
I can see you.
Okay.
Yeah, you are on stream.
Just refresh it. Yeah. Whatever. Anyways.
Eh.
So, Cinderella is undead.
Mm-hmm.
Does Cinderella get restored to like youth when she's brought back from the dead?
No, she just like
No.
Or she's
sits
still
up.
just old shit?
Yeah, she just like sits up and starts yapping.
I don't think she says anything important. Just
No.
mentions like a book or something she wanted to give.
So they
Yeah.
keep like asking her questions, and she's like,
Oh.
I don't remember. It was so long ago. But it's like, bitch, you died like to you it'd be a second ago. You should remember something. But she's like, no, it was so long ago. I don't remember. And what else is she saying?
They ask her if she knows the Muffin Man, and she doesn't.
She looks at at Constance, and she's like, you look like my Gabrielle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I'm her great niece. And then this is when Cinderella's like, oh, right, I'm dead. And she doesn't really say anything helpful except that there's a book
Yeah.
that she probably wrote something in and to stop him. And then she goes back to being dead.
Yeah, it was like pretty pointless because we also already knew that the journal, like, there was something that Cinderella wanted to give Gabrielle.
Oh yes.
So this whole thing was kind of pointless.
I don't know if she said it was in her room or gave any hints. I just know she mentioned the book.
They didn't say anywhere where it could have been or anything like that.
No. She just starts screaming, stop him!
Yeah.
And then he dies again.
Oh yeah, because that's when the witch cuts the spell.
Yeah, because the witch is like, I can't keep her, like, in this body because then I'll be tied to her, like, I'll be tied to this dead corpse.
Yeah. Which, like, a few more minutes wouldn't have killed her. It would have been fine. But we find out later on why she doesn't want to
Find out.
Oh boy. And then I jump ahead again to page 290, where the king's talking about the cotillion. Or he announces it. Does anything...
That's pretty much, I think, where it goes.
Okay. So he announces cotillion. He says all the girls must attend, or else all family property is forfeited and the family members will be killed. It's just like...
How's that gonna work? You can't be a king if you have nobody to rule.
It just escalates
wait.
so fast.
So they had gone, like, after talking to Cinderella, they went back to the shack and were gonna make up a plan. And then I guess the witch had gone back into town under disguise for stuff and things, supplies. I don't know, sneak around to see what's going on. And she comes back with a flyer or
Yeah.
an invitation, something about the cotillion,
Yeah.
which was not a word I knew about before. It was a new word for me.
A cotillion isn't quite as fancy as a ball, but it's still kind of fancy? Question mark?
I only know
Do
about it
stuff for
from like.
cotillions for graphics.
Oh really? It's not really like a thing that happens in Canada.
Isn't a cotillion
Something happens
that,
in Canada.
that
We don't
weird
have
thing
it.
that happens in the south of America where all the dads bring their young girls out?
Is that what that is?
Huh?
Is that a
No.
cotillion?
What are they doing when they go
It's like,
out?
it's like a presentation. You're quote unquote presenting them to society is the idea, but it's
Oh,
just weird. And
You're
fucking
right, because that happens in the OC.
What are you talking about?
You've never watched the OC?
No.
Oh. Anyways, I'm pretty sure they have something similar in that show. But according to Wikipedia, the cotillion is a social dance popular in the 18th century Europe and North America.
I remember it well.
Originally for four couples in square formation, it was a courtly version of an English country dance.
Okay.
Oh,
So
I
it
think
must
we
have
were
been
thinking
English
of
for-
a debutante ball. No.
Oh, a
that's different.
debutante
What
ball.
I
okay.
was thinking of. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's a
Although
season
it sounds
of
similar enough.
typically a Southern American tradition. A cotillion ball is a season of etiquette classes for middle school aged kids, 11 to 13. The season ends with a final dinner dance where proud parents and teachers gather to watch the participants show off their table manners, conversation etiquette, and dance moves.
Well, that's not at all what happens at this one.
No, this is very much. I feel like the author just plucked a name out of a dictionary and was like, yes, cotillion.
Yeah, so I think because of what Sophia did and because the king hasn't found her, quote unquote, found her yet, he's
Oh.
essentially punishing everyone. So he's like, all the girls have to show up to this thing, and you have to be chosen, or else you're forfeit. So, yeah.
Hold on, Jam and Addie, did you guys close the window that had the stream together? Because you've both disappeared.
Oh no, I didn't close it.
And I keep trying to invite you
Yeah.
guys again, but then it's like, you've already invited them. We're awaiting a response.
Hold on.
Jam's back. It's not a big deal. I was just... I lost you guys.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're
I
back.
see myself. Yay.
There you are.
Okay.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, because like
Shit.
during the stream, I was just like, join. I was like, I already joined. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you might have accidentally closed the window.
Oh, where'd Addie go?
Oh no, Addie died. She's not in Discord either. Oh,
Can we
Hang on.
take a quick break and figure out technical difficulties and use the washroom?
Yeah. Oh,
We still haven't finished the first part. We
I
just
know.
haven't finished the
We're,
book.
we're almost there.
We're almost
like,
there.
Hey there.
this is where it
Third.
speeds through.
Yeah.
Addie's internet her power flickered and her internet went out. So yeah, let's take a break.
Okay.
We'll figure this out later.
Cool.
No flipping. likely this will be a two-parter.
Oh no.
No.
It's okay. We're almost there. This is the part where it like speeds on through. Alright, so
No.
Cotillion. Sophia thinks this is to pressure her to go. Oh, her and Constance have kissed. Sophia might have finally moved on from Aaron. I'm just reading my notes from now
It's
on.
mooching.
So, like, Sophia does visit Aaron.
But that's after.
'cause- Yeah.
That's after this. Because I have that on
Okay.
page 306-ish. This arc
I
of...
thought the cotillion was like the end of it all.
This is them just getting the invite. They haven't gone yet.
Oh.
And then... Oh, so Constance has, like, her own storybook version of what happened with Cinderella, and that's the true version. And so now they're comparing Constance's version with the palace-approved version. Constance's version has... It actually shows Cinderella's mom dead in the driveway where the guards killed her. The palace-approved version says that the stepsisters were so jealous and so envious of Cinderella that they cut off their toes to try and fit their feet into the glass slipper, which is not true. The palace-approved version was very much trying to paint the stepsisters as these evil stepsisters, very gruesome. There's actually a part earlier in the book, kind of like leading up to the ball, because there's like a lot of festivities and stuff. There's a carnival game where little girls try on slippers, and if it fits, then they get like a little trinket, so like a little fake wand or like replica slippers. And if they lose, they get a deformed photo of the stepsisters, and we see a little girl get one, and she's like, "Mama, I don't want to be like them." So it shows like they really do indoctrinate you from like every single angle. Like, you do not want to be the stepsisters, you want to be Cinderella. Because if you're the stepsisters, you're deformed, you're ugly, you're useless, you're worthless. And then this is when Sophia decides to go to Aaron. Unless I skipped something.
I don't think you skipped anything.
Even if you did, it's absolutely fine. I promise. I will survive if you skip something.
You don't know that. What if I skip a main plot point? So Sophia decides to go see Aaron, and she wants to say goodbye, and just...
What's Aaron doing at this point?
I feel like we missed their first visit. The first time, like, Sophia encountered Aaron. Right? Because it was, like, the beheading, and I don't know if Sophia saw Aaron there with her husband, and she had bruises, and she's like, oh my God, Aaron, are you okay?
We did. I think I just
And
didn't
this is
bother
like-
writing it down because I was sick of Aaron at this point.
Yeah, so this is, like, the second time they visit Aaron, which I
Yeah.
was pissed off with. Because, God.
Just leave
fuck
her
that
alone.
girl,
But also, just like, this is gonna be now, like, the book just has Sophia constantly going to check on Aaron. Like, we first meet her, and she's like, oh, gotta go check on Aaron to make sure she got home safe. Oh, I have to go check on Aaron. Oh, gotta go check on her again. And it's like, girl, calm down. You're not her mother. Like, just breathe.
She's not her mother, but she is her mummy.
Ew. They're 16.
That, I think, like, that way that Sophia was written, where she's constantly, like, so overbearing. Like, I feel like the author's trying to write her to seem like she's really just very kind and empathetic and wants
Yeah.
what's best for everybody, but she comes across to me as so overbearing. Like, there's a part at the beginning of the book when, like, they're first going to the ball and Sophia and Aaron are together in the, like, they're riding together.
Yeah.
And then Aaron calls Sophia selfish because she's, like, trying to push this ideal onto Aaron. I was like, that's true. You both are in a tough situation,
Yeah.
so I can get where they're both coming from, but, like, this time again, when Sophia's, like, going to see Aaron and trying to convince her again, like, you can leave, it's like, girl, you gotta let go. She's made her
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah. So yeah, she goes to see Aaron again to say goodbye, but she doesn't know where Aaron lives because now Aaron is married. So she goes to Liv's house because that makes sense. Ah, yes, I'm gonna go bother the people whose daughter was just, like, assaulted basically at the palace. I'm gonna go talk to them.
And trust that they're not gonna turn her in.
Yeah. So she goes to Liv's house. And it seems that, like, Liv's dad is kind of, like, coming out of this cultish mindset. And he's very, like, yeah, fuck the patriarchy. Let's take them down. He tells Sophia not to go home. I definitely skipped over some parts. But both parents seem to be very, like, pro Sophia doing what she's doing. But they're like, just don't go home to see your parents because you will get them killed. Pretty crazy stuff. And then from here, and then they tell her where where Erin is now living with her husband. Something about Erin's parents didn't have enough money for the dowry, so now they're living outside of town, and the husband's pissed because now he kind of lost his status because of that.
That part confused me. Because
yeah.
At first, like, Morris getting engaged to Erin, and they say that, like, Morris essentially paid for Erin. Like, he paid, like, 6 months worth of wages.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, the transaction's done. But now you're getting a dowry? Like, are they paying you back? I don't understand.
Yeah.
The other brother?
I think it was...
married her?
Yeah, the Eduardo?
Edward.
Eduard.
I hated both of them.
Yeah, they kind of get mixed up in my head. They're basically the same person, though.
So, Morris / Edward married
Erin. Yeah.
Trail.
But
What
yeah.
happens to Luke? Is he out at this point?
Yeah.
Luke is still missing.
Like, out of...
We haven't
Oh,
seen him
he's missing.
since the ball. But yeah, I was confused as to how all of a sudden he has no money. Because, like, if his parents are wealthy, why does he not have their money? Why are they, like, on the edge of town? That part didn't make sense.
Wasn't sure. Because I was, like, wondering, like, is that customs for, like, the poor people, too? Like, they still have to have a dowry for the husband? I'm not sure. I kind of just, like, read past that because I was not getting it.
And a lot of stuff I just kind of glossed over and kept going.
So she goes to see Erin, and Erin is bitter and resentful that Sophia left her alone and was like, how dare you leave me? Like, Liv was taken and now you're just gone and I'm stuck with this asshole. And it's like, okay, well, first of all, girly, you were given multiple chances to also leave.
Yeah.
You didn't want to. And it's like, I still
How dare you do exactly what I said?
I still get, like, Erin's mindset. I think, like, I just empathize with her so well that I just, like, I still can't be mad at her, even though she is kind of being a bitch. It's like, she grew up, like, it's hard to break out of. And then when shit starts going bad, like, you do tend to blame everyone else for your choices. I think Erin is the most, like, realistic character in this book.
Yeah.
Like, she's
I get... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, she's the only one where, like, even if I didn't like her choices, I was like, they're at least realistic. And it, like, I can see why she's making those choices. Everyone else, it was just kind of like, this is what the author wants them to say, so they're saying it.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, like, I understand where she's coming from, like, her point of view of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even when they're in the carriage before with Sophia and Erin, and she was saying, like, I have to do this, like, I have to go get married. My parents are in debt because of, like, the amount of money they put into getting me dolled up for this ball. Like, I can't just abandon them.
Mm-hmm.
And also, they said if I don't, like, break this off with you, I'm going to be forfeit. And at this point, like, we don't know what that means, but to them, it's like they're going to be sold off to, like, work, do hard labor or whatever somewhere else.
Yeah, they're disowned.
And so, like, yeah. And so, like, knowing that you could potentially put your family in serious danger or get them killed, executed because you ran off. It's like that kind of, and then the guilt of, like, they're working their butts off, their asses off to, like, keep you as safe as they can in this kind of society. It's like, I think I would probably have made the same decision, especially at that age. Like,
yeah,
I get it. I still don't agree why she was so pissed off at Sophia. Like, calm down. But, like, I get why she did what she did.
Especially since it seems like her parents, Liv's parents, and Sophia's parents, like, they were all actually good people. Because you do see the opposite side, like, with the seamstress's husband, where he is not a good person. He is, like, the extreme of, like, the bad guy. Whereas, like, their dads all seem like good people from like what we've been told. Like none of them are abusive. Like they're all trying to do their best for their family and keep everyone safe. So like when your dad is one of the very few people that are good in that world, like yeah, obviously you're not going to want him to get killed. You're going to do the best that you can. Because if your dad is an asshole abuser, you're going to be like, yeah, well, I'm going to leave because fuck you. I don't care what happens to you. So I think to have like that perspective of like, you don't want one of the very few people to get killed and it to be your fault. Like, you're gonna stay. And Sophia just doesn't get that. Because she's 16. She doesn't care about that. She just wants to do what she wants to do.
That's why it was kind of wild to me that Sophia made that decision. Like, again, because they're young and the world revolves around just you at that age. Like, everything's about you. Like, I get why she would have just, like, gone off and done that in her immaturity, but it's also like your parents are so kind and did so much to keep you safe, and you could have gotten them killed. Like, I honestly believe when she visited them the first time and the guard was at the house and the father's like, Sophia's over there, I feel like that saved him, because that was him, like, from the guard's point of view, like actually giving up his daughter and like pointing her out and saying like, yeah, I'm not hiding her, she's across the street, go get her.
It's just so
So maybe I missed this, but did they actually manage to kill Prince Charming?
We're not there yet.
Oh, we're not there. Oh, I thought we were at the end.
No.
No.
That's the thing. Like this book, we definitely needed an editor, a better editor. This could have been like 200 pages shorter. It didn't need to be this long.
Like at this point in the book, I really liked the world building at the beginning and like in the first half, and then this second half, like you said before, it was just like accelerating. The foot was never off the gas. We're just zooming through so much.
It's like so much happened so fast, but it also dragged on at the same time. It was weird.
I agree.
Because definitely around like page 200, it's just like, I just need this to be done.
There were just scenes that weren't necessary, or could have been if it like, I don't know,
if they were more fleshed out.
Added more to like the story.
Yeah, like with Cinderella coming back from the dead, like that could have been a really good scene, but it's just kind of like nothing important was really brought up in my opinion.
Cinderella's back. Cool.
Like necromancy is possible. The only important thing was the fairy godmother, like what she says about not wanting to be tied to the corpse.
Yeah,
that was it.
Which could have just
like that.
Like that part literally could have just been like when she was like, I don't want to bring her back and this is why, and then just left it at that, and it would have had
like,
the same
right when
effect.
they're talking about the spell.
Yeah,
they didn't have to go and do all that and have that whole scene just for her to say that one line. It didn't help.
Yeah. So
but anyways.
So yeah, and then I guess Sophia leaves because Aaron yells at her and is like, get out of here. So she's like, okie dokie, and walks away. And then we have Sophia getting ready for cotillion. Elmina uses the same magic she used for Cinderella to get Sophia ready for the cotillion, and it's actually in the exact same spot, that big silver magical tree that Jam mentioned earlier. It looks like that because that's where the witch did her shit. She also gives Sophia a charged quartz dagger, which is the same one she gave Cinderella all those years ago. The king says that there are now 2 annual mandatory events. If the unwed girls are not chosen at the cotillion, they are automatically forfeited. She ends up inside. The witch had disguised. She like bibbidi bobbidi booped a carriage. She transformed herself into the carriage driver. They go inside.
I pulled up words to bibbidi bobbidi boo in case we wanted to have a sing along.
So she's inside. The same shit goes down, but Sophia's like, I've seen this before. I'm not impressed anymore. So she ends up, I think, doing the waltz with the king. I don't remember what dance. I was going to write it down and then I didn't bother. And then at some point, he brings her into another room. Oh, I think he sends everyone out. I don't remember why. I just remember she was being a bitch to him.
Sends them out to, like, a courtyard because, like, they start the cotillion, he does his announcement, they do this quick random dance, and then he's like, everyone get out to the courtyard and continue talking over there.
Yeah.
Like, all the chosen women was like, you can go home. I don't know why you're here. You can go home now. Everyone who hasn't been chosen, get your ass in the courtyard. Go find a man.
Everybody dance now. Bum, 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 bum.
And then it's also noted that like some people, some of the men specifically, the men who have already like have a wife or already chosen somebody, some of them are still there because why not get a second wife?
Ooh. So they end up in a separate room, and they have some banter back and forth. This might be where she tells him that she knows he's charming, and then she stabs him in the neck, and he just kind of laughs at her, and then he sends her
Sophia
to the
says
dungeon.
something really stupid here. And I didn't highlight it because I was like, this is so dumb. But it was essentially like, she stabs him in the neck, Prince Charming, whatever, Manfred's laughing. He's like, oh my god, that was your big plan. Ha ha ha. And she's like, we knew he couldn't die, but we didn't think he couldn't be killed. And I was like, bitch, what? What do you mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, it was interesting.
We knew she was an octopus, but we didn't know she had 8 legs.
Pretty much.
No.
Oh, so before all this happens, Constance is like trying to teach Sophia how to fight, how to kill, and like how to stab people. And I think at some point they basically bring, when they're like doing their flirty thing of like, ooh, do you like me? Blah blah blah. Constance brings up kind of like an ex-girlfriend, Emily or Amali. Addie, how was it pronounced in the audiobook?
I don't remember.
Okay, we're gonna go with Emily. They had, at some point in like the very beginning of the book, or even before the book started, like some fountain was blown up. It was Constance and her girlfriend that did it. Constance got away. She assumed Emily died, I think, but Emily was actually just taken prisoner. She's in the dungeon.
Is Emily the voice in the dungeon that you hear like once? Okay.
Yeah, that was in my notes too. So that's the voice that Sophia heard the night of the ball. Sophia, of course, manages to escape because she is Sophia. That's what she does. She promises to come back. She ends up wandering through the castle, and she ends up in Cinderella's room. She finds like all her old clothes, blah blah blah, and that's where she finds the journal that Cinderella had written about. And in there, she writes that the king drained her life force slowly over time. So, like, he would take a whole bunch until she almost died, let her recover, and then do it again, over and over. She probably said other stuff, but I didn't write it down. Then the guard comes into the room, because obviously they're looking for Sophia. And then she knocks him out, and shoves him into the closet and leaves.
Wait, who's in the closet?
Just a guard.
Yeah,
just
a guard that happened to stop by Cinderella's room.
Okay.
And then I have where she goes to the dungeon and finds Luke. There's 2 separate dungeons, I guess. I was a little confused.
No, that dungeon was
a lower floor and an upper floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I just called them
So,
dungeons because I'm lazy.
She goes into this floor and she sees like this man trying to bribe a guard to buy one of the prisoners, and then she sees Luke is there and he's malnourished along with some other malnourished children. Yeah.
Luke should have just eaten a kid then. That's all I'm saying. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah. So he was considered a forfeit. And then I kind of glossed over this part. I was like, then a new guard comes. I don't think that's what happens. I was just being lazy, and that's what I wrote. And then Sophia knocks him out, because apparently she's a professional now. She knows how to do that. After seeing Constance do it once. She steals his key. Sorry?
That whole scene was basically she goes into the room where that guy was selling or whatever.
Yeah.
I believe that's where it was.
Yeah.
And then she tries to knock him out, but it doesn't work. Then one of the prisoners screams, distract the guard. Then she does it.
Okay. Yeah, I was speed reading at this point. So yeah, that happens, and then she steals the keys, lets people out. There's approximately 40 girls and 6 boys. And then I get to, like, where the big scene goes down, if anyone else wants to take that over.
Big scene. Hold on.
And then Lorette discovers who killed his wife.
So, like, she gets these prisoners free, and she tells them to go to the courtyard where the other people are, which is weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, big event. I also, like, was reading through this, so... What do I remember? He meets up with Manfred again. Don't remember how that happens. And... Is Constance there yet? Maybe not. Fairy
No.
Godmother walks in.
Yeah.
Fairy Godmother is like, hi. And they're talking, so Sophia is talking to Manfred, or he's talking to her, and he's like, Fairy Godmother hasn't told you yet? And then they're like, oh, hi, Mom. So the Fairy Godmother is Manfred's mother, which is great. What a twist.
Yeah.
Basically, we find out that the story that the Fairy Godmother had told Sophia and Constance at the beginning was a lie, somewhat. So, like, yes, she was this witch that was helping the village with her magic. The reason the town suddenly turned on her was because she used necromancy to bring her son back. And necromancy is always a no-no in every part of the world. In every fantasy, you're not allowed to do it.
Which is
So they're
wrong.
like-
It should be fine. It's recycling.
Yeah, it's not like she was raising an army. She just wanted her son back. So I don't see what the problem was. I mean, clearly he was a problem, so maybe they should have been upset.
Yeah, maybe it's actually
Right.
just because it was him. It has nothing to do with necromancy. They just hate him.
Yeah. So she brought the son back, and then she gets him on the throne, and he causes chaos. What is...
It says necromancy. It's called recycling.
It is.
Anyways, as someone who plays a necromancer, or used to play a necromancer in D&D, it's fine.
Recycle.
You
It's
became
fine.
full Arya there.
Yeah. She's a part of me now, you know? Sorry,
She's just always in the background.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but it was within
No, it's
reach.
okay. So yeah, we find out that big reveal. And some stuff happens. It gets fuzzy here, but Constance appears at some point.
Yeah.
And, the fairy godmother kind of like lunges for Sophia. Not sure why, but she does. And then Constance murders her, as she should, with like, I don't know, a weapon,
Somehow.
sword, something. Just runs her through,
Mm-hmm.
and that kills the fairy godmother.
Yeah.
Wait, I gotta back up. So because fairy godmother used necromancy to raise her son, like they're bound together, which is why she's been alive for 200 years. She can't die unless he dies, and he can't die unless she dies. And so Constance kills the fairy godmother, and now the king, Manfred, is like starting to crumble. Not really crumble, but like,
He's like
he's a
cookie.
200-year-old corpse. He's like decaying. And the reason he's been able to stay alive for so long was because he's been draining like the youth out of other people, which is why Fairy Godmother hasn't died, because Manfred can't die, because he's draining people's youth.
Like you do.
Now one of them's dead, so the cycle has been broken. And Sophia's running, and Manfred's running after her, even though he's decaying. And I don't know, they get to a hall, and she's about to run out the door, but she's like, no, I gotta face him. But it's like, really, do you? He's already dying. You could just leave, and he'll crumble. But she turns around, and I think she stabs him somewhere, and then he dies again.
He uses, she uses Cinderella's dagger. But
Yeah.
before that, I think he tries to drain her life force. Lola!
What is happening to your camera?
Sorry. So my camera is now on my mic arm. Because
Oh.
it used to be on my monitor, but my monitor is really high, so the angle was really bad. And so I was trying to find something else to put it on. So I put it on my mic arm because that's like in between the two. But Lola likes rubbing her face on my mic. And so she pushed the whole thing over.
I see.
Yeah. Very exciting stuff. So yeah, I think he tries draining her life force, and then she sees that light, and she's like, oh, that's the tunnel Cinderella was talking about, which I kind of skipped over. She wrote about that in her journal. And then we realized, oh, that's what she saw in the pond when she was naked.
Yeah, that was her vision. I don't know what relevance that was, though, because he was dying anyways, and she just had to stab him. I don't know what the tunnel did.
I think at that point, he just hated her so much that even if he was dying, he wanted to take her out with him. Because he's like, if I can't live.
I mean, like, what was the point of knowing about this tunnel? What did it do?
I think the tunnel was, like, the life force. Like, that's, like, it connected them. And then the life force, like, went down the tunnel from the person to him. I think. Okay. I don't know.
That sounds right. She probably disconnected somehow, and that's why she was able to stab him, and then he died.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that part's
the next part I hated the most because it's like it's very fairy tale and unrealistic, and I guess in a world where things are easy, this would work. But she goes out to the courtyard.
Oh, before that, the king somehow starts burning to death.
Because is that how the fire started?
Yeah, because of magic, I guess. Sorry, Addie?
I thought she took a torch and set him on fire.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
Ended up burning up the whole castle.
Oh, I just thought, somebody knocked over a candle at some point, because I was like, where did this fire come from?
I thought he, spontaneously combusted because magic.
At least I think that's what happened.
One of us is right. One of us has to be right. I feel like Addie's probably the most right, because that makes sense.
Right, so everything starts to burn, and then she remembers, oh my god, there's prisoners on the upper floor, I gotta go get them. So she goes to get them, she gets them out, and then she can't get out herself because she's so weak and tired. And so she, passes out, but Constance saves her, because that was her, vision, I think, maybe?
I don't remember.
Pretty sure. Yeah, she had, a vision about it, so she was able to find Sophia, drag her out, and now they're all in the courtyard. Convenient. And this part is the one I hated, where she's I killed the king, and then she has her little speech about how we're going to change things, and fuck you men.
It's very
it's very cringy.
Yeah.
It's very fairy tale, it's very cringy because I feel like the author tries to make it more realistic because it's not like everyone jumps in and says, yeah, we're gonna change things. There's some men that are like, no, or sure, you can change some things because we don't have a king, but we want to say in what's gonna happen. It's like, man, get the
and
fuck
then the
out
little
of here.
16-year-old girl is like, you had a chance to say whatever before, and now that there's no king, you want your chance? No. It's just...
And they, run these men out of town?
Yeah.
How many of them were there? I don't know, but they got run out of town.
They get fully out. They're like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And then we have a time skip where essentially because Constance was related to the Cinderella's father, who was supposed to be next in line for the throne, she's on the throne, kind of. She makes this government essentially. A council of 6 people that includes her.
That she picked.
And that she picked. I'm sure they're all women because, yes.
Yeah.
And everything is not sunshine and rainbows, but on the way there.
Yeah, and it mentions, I think, Emily is, head of, the military. Not, the military, but the equivalent of that.
Yeah. And so, sometimes the men that got run out of town try to come back and, I guess, overthrow the women and other people. And so her group are the ones that keep them safe from the men. That
typical man not getting
the message. Fuck off.
Yeah.
The end.
And that's the end.
They don't mention Aaron at all at the end.
Yeah, that's one of my very first things was what happens to Aaron.
Exactly. Like after that conflict she had with Sophia, she's like, "You're just one of those silly girls, just like us, and I have to be stuck with my husband in this shit situation." But now everything's changed. Where is Aaron?
Yeah.
So, Candace and Sophia together?
We don't.
Yes.
We. I
Yeah,
don't.
Constance.
Does it actually say that they're together, or did that also get glossed over?
I think it was glossed over, but like insinuated that they're like still together.
Okay.
Pretty sure it said they were together.
Oh, I don't remember. I think I was just too. Where's Aaron? That's all I
I
cared
went full
about.
Sophia.
I just wanted to know what happened to her.
So
So, did we like the book?
Oh, that's at the end, Peter. That's our last.
Oh, that's at the end. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
we
rating
can't
is.
reveal that
Yeah,
yet.
rating is the very last thing that we do. This
That's right.
very
yes.
professional and positive book club.
Hey, not all of them can be very.
This very honest book club. All
So,
right.
did anyone have any thoughts about this work of fiction? Who wants to start? Anybody at all?
Do we want to start
We're
with?
gonna check out.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, do we want to
you
do final thoughts, or do we want to do questions and then do final thoughts plus rating at the end?
Questions first, and then
Yeah.
final thoughts.
Okay. Jan, what were you gonna say before I really cut
I
you
was gonna
off?
say the same thing. Like, I think we should go for the questions first.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Question 1: how much did you know about the book before picking it up?
Absolute zero.
I heard of the title. That's it.
Yeah, I've heard about it for a while now. It's been on my TBR for like probably years at this point. I actually have a different book by this author that is also sitting on my shelf that I haven't read yet.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Was this? Do we know if this was like?
This
a
is her
debut
first.
novel?
Yeah, this is her first one. I checked.
You're kidding.
All right.
I needed to know. And I think Addie pretty much told us. Wait. Oh God, I hate that.
How much did you know about the book before? Like when you picked it?
Basically, just what I searched on it. Nothing but the premise.
Okay.
So we were all pretty much in the same boat where we didn't know that much. Oops. It fell. Oops.
Oh no.
No. Sorry. Okay. How did it make you feel? Did it make you laugh, cry, cringe, etc.?
Yes.
Well, I didn't cry this time, so there was that.
For me, I'm gonna say at the end I was disappointed. At the beginning I was like, oh, this is some interesting world building, let's see where it goes. And then halfway through I was like, we are running out of pages to do something good. And then like 3/4 of the way I'm like, because they still haven't gone to the ball or fought Manfred yet, so I was like, this is not going to end well for me the reader. So yeah, that's how I felt. A lot of cringing.
Yeah, I agree. It was lots of cringe. Which I will talk about in my final thoughts as well, because I took some notes about that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think like literally the same as you, Jim. Like starting off, I was pretty hopeful. There were still parts where I was like a little apprehensive about some things.
Yeah.
Like when I got to the part about the seamstress being abused, I was like, this seems really heavy for like a 16-year-old to be going through. And I know that happens in real life. I just thought it was a pretty wild choice to make her that young and have her deal with these really, really, really heavy topics.
It did seem at times the author forgot how old Sophia was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, this is also like, our generation did read The Hunger Games, which is also like a teenager doing some like, also dealing with some pretty heavy topics. But I personally thought that was like a little better handled. Like, it just, I don't know if it's because I was a teenager and I was reading it, so it felt more believable. But and now that I'm like 30 and reading about a teenager dealing with this, and I'm like, I don't know. It just felt weird.
Yeah.
It felt weird that
like,
she
even the
did
parts,
that.
even the parts when like she was fighting Manfred and like he was just kissing her, and it's like, did we need to add that?
Yeah.
Anyways,
I don't know if this is the point to share this thought, but I just thought it was like 17 things crammed into one. Like, it was Hunger Games, it was Handmaid's Tale, it was a little bit, and I hesitate to use this term, but it was a little bit Jeffrey Epstein. Like, the girls lining up and that kind of thing. It's like she's taken other work and things from the news and just been like, story with magic.
Yeah. I was wondering if it was kind of similar to like, because I've never watched, was it Handmaid's
Tale, yeah.
Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, I haven't watched it. Like, I hear about it, so I was wondering if like maybe there's some inspiration to like that.
Oh, maybe we should read that next.
If
you like depression double bill.
I feel like I own it. Hi, Bruce.
The world of A Handmaid's Tale is very similar to this world, where women are just basically objects and subjugated.
Is it at all similar to like what's happening in the TV show? Is it a show or is it a movie?
Yeah, it's a show. It's a show. Although I believe it was like a mini TV movie in like the mid to late 90s? Anyway, the point is that this world is very similar to Handmaid's Tale.
I do own it. I had to read it in college. I did not finish.
How far did you get?
There's still a bookmark in it. It's my receipt from when I bought it at campus, I guess. The price is gone. I got to page 262 out of 330-ish pages.
What's the sentence on? Can you read this sentence on one of those pages? Just any sentence at all.
If you didn't work it out, it was because one of you had the wrong attitude.
That describes our whole book club.
So, it was hard because I had to read like a book a week on top of like my other courses. So this was an elective course. So I didn't get to finish it.
So many books.
But yeah, I do have it. So that could be the next book club book.
You'll see.
All right, Addie, how did it make you feel?
I think you cut out because I heard that was it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were thinking or.
It's more like a final thoughts type of thing for me on this.
Okay.
All right, we can skip ahead to number 3 then. Do you have any favorite quotes or passages you would like to share?
I actually did find one. It's from, I believe this is when she's speaking to Luke at the ball. I screen capped it and then I put a red thing around it. It says, just because they deny us doesn't mean we cease to exist.
Oh, I highlighted that one as well. It is good.
That's a good one.
Jam, fist bump.
Fist bump. You can't see my fist, but I'm doing it.
Oh, I see your fist in my nightmares.
Oh, man. Yeah, the only one I had was take the risk, light the fuse. I thought that was sick.
That was cool. But it was cooler when it was like a metaphorical fuse, not an actual fuse. Like, start the revolution, not like, go set that shit on fire.
It's kind of like two of them. So, for me, page 279. For all his cruelty, he is a highly intelligent man. I think we sometimes make the mistake of thinking monsters are abhorrent aberrations, lurking in the darkest recesses when the truth is far more disturbing. And then page 54, because I thought like they kind of linked together. What was it? So Sophia was talking about like the good men in town, and she's like, but these good men aren't making the rules. These decent men are turning a blind eye to indecent acts. And it's like, in their society, it's just like the men have the power, but they are just men. They're just people. right? Like with as much power as everybody else.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to what we were saying about what her parents did for her. And it's like, yes, they're not helping, but they're literally keeping you alive.
Just more of them band together and killed the other ones. But, you know, you don't do that.
Yes, it's completely necessary.
Exactly. What about you, Addie?
I did like the very end where it said, "Do not be silent, raise your voice, and be a light in the dark."
Yes.
This author does have a lot of good, like, almost one-liners, where it's kind of like a diamond in the rough.
Yeah. It's such a shame she couldn't take all those good quotes and put them into a really good book.
Yeah. Next time. I don't know how many books she's written. It's probably phenomenal at this point. You know, the first one gets some leeway.
It's like when you make pancakes. You never have you never keep the first one. You always just eat it away.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just practice. You burn it, and then the next ones are better.
Oh, we can burn this book. Excellent.
No, don't burn the book.
You paid money.
Plus, it's on my phone, so I'd have to get that out of my phone. Did not think that through.
Okay, what were some of your favorite scenes from the book, and why did they stand out?
My favorite scene was like just the back and forth between Constance and Amina, because before we knew what we knew, I thought it was like, well, before we knew what we knew and the Cinderella thing, I thought it was just like interesting to see people's perspective and like one person thinking they're right but also wrong, the other one's like, no, like this is how it should have been and you fucked up, old witch lady.
Mm-hmm.
And then the witch is being like, well, this is what I was dealing with, and yeah, I made a few mistakes and I've done some terrible things, but you know, that's life. And I just like the things that like Constance was saying to her, like, you didn't try to fix your mistakes, and I had some other things highlighted from there. I'd have to find it. But yeah, that was my favorite scene.
Addie, what about you? Because I feel like we keep putting you last.
This is a tough one. Maybe.
I think we lost you
Ta-da.
again.
Maybe the scenes where Luke and Sophia try to plan their escape,
That's a good scene.
although that goes down horribly.
That was like the most hopeful I was throughout the book.
Yeah.
Like at that one moment, and then it was just downhill.
I think mine was that last scene with Aaron. Because I think that's just like the most realistic scene out of the entire book. And it's just really Aaron reading Sophia the Riot Act and being like, listen, bitch. It's not all rainbows and sunshine. Some of us have to think about our families too. So
Yeah.
I think it was kind of a reality check that maybe Sophia kind of needed. It didn't work, but she tried. Peter, what about you?
I'll let you know when I find one.
Alrighty. Which character did you connect with the most?
I'm gonna be honest, none of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Luke.
Maybe. I wish we knew more about Luke.
Yeah. Me too. He tried his best. I think he was
Tried
like
so hard.
he was like the most good character, I think. Where he was like, you know what, I don't want to just get myself out. I'm gonna also get her out, and like on a small scale way. Just try to be a good
Like
person.
even to the point when they're at the mall and he's like, I'm here to claim you, and then he says, sorry, I had to word it that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a nice thing.
He was raised right.
Yeah. He did not deserve what he got, which
No.
What? We never see him again, do we?
We do at the end.
Oh, do we? So he's
So,
alive
like,
and okay?
yeah, he gets dragged off to the dungeon, and then Sophia, when she goes back to the castle and is freeing people,
Oh,
she
yeah.
finds him.
Does he
he's
find his wee
lit.
boyfriend?
No, I think that man is dead.
Oh,
I think so
R.I.P.
too.
Louis.
Some guy.
Pour some out for Louis.
Alright. How did the main characters change or grow throughout the story?
Did they?
I don't think they did. They were pretty one track minded.
Yeah.
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 I think Aaron got more resentful. That was the only type of change. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say growth for any characters.
No.
Constant was like gung ho, let's like down with the patriarchy and the king. And Sophia's like, let's escape and then change things and like
And it works out for them.
yeah.
They didn't
She
need
doesn't
to
really
change.
grow or become wiser. She's just, she's her kid self doing amazing kid things.
There also wasn't really time. Cause like I don't know what the
Yeah.
timeline for this book was, but it all happens like within a few days, I think.
Mhm.
Felt
So
like the time between like going between the Cinderella's grave and the woods and all that were at least like a week or so.
Oh, was it?
At least I felt like that.
yeah, I thought that was like a week, and then I
Okay.
thought for some reason they had spent a month at the shack
Oh.
because like they talk
Maybe.
about preparing the spell for the necromancy, and it's like at the end of the month, so they have to get started. So I thought
I
that was a
was-
month,
I
Because
and then
Luke was
after
all,
that,
like,
hmm
because of how Luke was all like starved and stuff, it wouldn't have happened
Yeah.
in just a few days.
You know what? That's a good point. I didn't think about that part.
yeah, and then like after that, I lost track because I don't know like after they did the spell, like how long did that take between then and the other ball Codleon thing? Like I don't know.
But now that I think about it, there was a scene where they mentioned there were like 4 days or so traveling in the woods.
Oh yeah, they did travel for quite a while. Alright, I just was not paying attention.
There's a lot happening.
But still, like a month and a half is not enough time to change
Yeah.
or grow. Especially when you're 16. Okay, how do the secondary characters... I feel like we've already answered this.
Yeah.
Which characters did you dislike or disagree with the most and why?
You want them alphabetically or in list format? I do just kind of feel like Sophia had good intentions. She was trying to make her life better and Erin's life better, but maybe she could have thought things through a bit more.
Yeah, just like have a little more empathy for this girl you're in love with.
She did want everything like right then, right now, like come away with me right now, this moment.
Yeah. Which I guess adds to her being 16. They're not really known for being patient.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we...
Oh,
Sorry?
I don't know if I actually liked any of the characters now that I'm thinking of it. Like, I can
Yeah.
probably list a bunch of characters I disliked, but like, I don't feel like I connected with any of the characters, and their personalities like very one-dimensional, and we didn't learn a lot about them, so I don't think I liked them.
No.
Like even Sophia, who tried so hard to be like very kind and very brave, I just didn't. I don't know. Something was off.
Yeah.
It's kind of all she was.
Yeah.
Alright, number 9. Are there any characters you wish you could give advice to, and what would you tell them?
I would not talk to any of them.
Yeah, I also wouldn't talk to any of them.
Like, maybe I would talk to the fairy godmother witch lady.
Yeah.
Like, way before she even put Manfred on the throne. Just to, like, figure out, like, what is your headspace? And why are you doing this? And what's the end game? How long do you want this to last? Like, what's going on here, really? Does he have to rule a kingdom? Like, why are we doing what we're doing?
Yeah.
But beyond that, like, I don't think I would have, like, if I was just some ghost that could give otherworldly advice, I don't think I would interact with these people.
You.
Yeah, I feel like Constance, like, she has a pretty good head on her shoulders. Like, she has been raised to be, like, a little rebel, and she is the last of her family. Honestly, I think, like, I just keep coming back to, like, telling Sophia to have more empathy for Aaron and for, like, everyone in that situation still. Because they just want to take care of their families and make sure that people don't die over dumb shit. And that, like, you can start a revolution, but maybe don't just start running off into the woods. Just plan a little and think ahead. I think that's all I got. And also, don't bring Cinderella back. Let her rest in peace.
Does Cinderella die again at the end, or is that her back?
No, she doesn't die. She just, like, goes back to being dead. The spell just ends. Alright, what do you think happens to the characters after the novel ends?
I don't know, man. They rule over their new kingdom and everything's amazing and chill. It's a fairy tale. That's what happens.
Yeah. That's pretty much what the author was going for, I think. I'd like to think that, like, Erin got away from her husband, because if all the evil men left, then surely her husband was top of the list.
I think there might have been something where they ran off those two.
Oh, okay. So then hopefully...
I'm not
And, like,
quite sure.
We don't know if Erin went with him or if she just stayed in town, and, like, then what?
I think
Did she ever apologize to Sophia? Like, what the fuck happened?
I think she would have stayed, especially if her parents were still there. I don't think she would have just gone off with this guy who's hitting her when there's the chance to stay with your family and, like, with all of what you know. I think it's easier to stay than to leave. Hopefully Liv's parents are also helping out with the new revolution and the new government, because they seem pretty gung-ho about it. Because when Sophia did go, he was talking about, like, his younger daughters, and it's like, oh, I know they're still young, but every day I think about when I have to send them. So hopefully he keeps that in mind with this, like, new government system, whatever, and is like, alright, we gotta protect people, not be assholes. Kind of lost my train of thought. And I think Luke finds a new boyfriend, and he's happy.
Yeah.
They go on carriage rides together, and it's cute and
they
romantic.
go and live in the woods and become wee gays in the woods and grow vegetables and raise sheep and whatnot.
Oh, so it is not on this screen. I'm so sorry, Simmersa. There's no fake cat to give treats to.
Give treats to Lola.
Hello, Simmer-san.
Well, it's being a little annoying at the moment.
Okay.
She wants me to feed her. But also, hello, Simmerson. How are you doing? I guess I could give her a treat. Hang on. Jesus.
Wow, she's got a lot to say.
She's very excited because this is around the time I give her her wet food. So she's like very anxious about that. She's very excited. So as soon as I started walking toward the kitchen, she started running. But, yeah. Any other characters we want to think about?
No.
No.
Alright, the most memorable or shocking scene or twist in the story.
Hello, mother. That's the scene for me.
Oh. I thought you were saying hi to someone, and I was like, your mom's not there. What are you saying hi to? I was so confused.
Isn't that like the only twist?
Well, that, and then that Manfred was the Prince Charming.
Oh yeah.
Which I also didn't see coming. Both of them surprised me, I guess. Alright, Peter, if you had to fight one of the characters in an old-timey boxing ring, who would you choose and would you win?
Who would I choose? I quite like the idea of fighting... I forget the character's name, like Poundland Malfoy, whatever his name was. Morris. He's not far from Malfoy. Morris.
It's pretty close.
Yep. Very good. Yeah, he'd be fun to fight. Probably him.
Would you win?
Oh, absolutely. I would fucking take him down to Funky Town. Or the corpse of Cinderella, because I might manage to beat the corpse of Cinderella. Those are my two fighting styles.
Alright, Jam, what about you?
Well, when I first started reading the book, I was thinking of like what I would have done if I was 16, and then what I would do now as an adult. Now, as an adult, if you dropped me into that book, there would be death. I would be killing people. You hit your wife, your head's gone. Goodbye. Like, no mercy. I would be running around with the biggest axe. I would kill people, and I wouldn't feel bad about it. If I was like little 16-year-old me, I would still kill people, but it'd be sneaky. I would be poisoning them. Did I do it? Where's your proof? Am I a witch? Well, I guess you have to die. You can't tell people that. So it's like, there's no one specific person I'd be fighting or
Just
killing.
Everyone.
I wouldn't just fight them, I would be killing them. So a lot of them are gonna die.
I want fan fiction now, except it's literally just the same book, except Jam is in it now.
That would be
It would be
amazing.
unhinged.
I would love
Like,
it.
The
That would be
middle of the
amazing.
night, death would happen, and people would wake up the next morning, and it's like, why are these bed sheets drenched with blood? Oh well. They
Jam
had to
becomes
go.
like Batman and just goes and kills men in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
That's a world I dream of.
Man. Addie, who are you fighting?
Probably a seamstress's husband.
That's a
or
good one.
Edward.
Yes.
Yeah, me and Addy doing the tag team rope-a-dope on Edward and I keep wanting to call him Malfoy now. What's his name?
Morris?
Morris. Yes.
Yeah.
Me
You know
and
what?
Addy back to back.
Can I join your tag team?
Yes.
Alright. 3 against 2, we got this.
And then
Well,
Jam
and
just
Jam,
comes
because
and
she's
chops
fighting everyone.
heads off. Yeah.
She's the secret weapon.
To the death.
And we win.
We
Exactly.
turn out to the fight and they're already dead because Jam beat us to it by 20 minutes.
And all 4 of us taking on the whole town.
Yeah. And then we stick a sign on the outside of the town that says under new management.
I love it. Alright, how would you adapt this book and who would you cast?
Oof.
I think this could be done in movie length because it does seem like if you just cut a lot of waffling out, you've
Yeah.
got something that could fit in movie length.
It 100% could fit in a movie. You know what? I
And wouldn't
think
even need like a sequel or anything.
a direct-to-DVD movie.
DVD. Direct to the you may also like of Amazon, not even DVD.
No, I think as a movie it would be good. I think the story would work a lot better as a movie than it does as a book.
There was a few cinematic elements in it that did seem good, like when they were describing the palace and the run up to the ball. I was like, I can imagine that, and I can imagine the room and the town and whatnot. So there were a few things that would make it look good theatrically.
Yeah.
I don't
As
know
for
any.
cast, sorry, Addy.
I don't know any young actors, but I think
Yeah.
Zazie Beetz is Sophia, and Tessa Thompson is Constance. Would be a great couple.
Who was the
Gotta
first
look
one you
at that.
said?
Zazie Beetz.
I am unfamiliar with Zazie Beetz.
Me too. Oh, yeah. Now that I'm seeing a picture
Oh,
of
yeah.
her.
I can see her as Sophia. I
I
just
was
saw her
gonna
age
go
though.
with-
She is 33, and that's
You know what?
In
It doesn't
Hollywood.
matter. It's fine.
I would have casted Amandla Stenberg, like Rue from Hunger Games,
okay.
Ooh.
for like Sophia. I don't know about Constance. I don't know how many other actors in the world have that, like a youthful look.
Or fawn skin.
I can see her. I can
Right.
see Amanda Stenberg as Sophia.
Sorry, Addie, who did you say as Constance?
Tessa Thompson.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm trying to pick it.
Played
Oh,
Valkyrie.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just
What's the
grabbing a photo.
personality of her characters?
You know, I just had to Google her name, but Shuri from Black Panther, Letitia Wright, as
Hold
Sophia.
Hold on. Where is this photo not
Oh.
showing?
I think she would work too.
See, I'm just trying to think of actresses that are kind of small in stature, but look like they could kick the shit out of people. Oh, there's Tessa Thompson.
I don't know who else I would cast for like the other characters, honestly. Like who would be the fairy godmother? Whoopi Goldberg.
I did think Whoopi when we were talking about
Yeah.
Fairy Godmother. I did think Whoopi. I was like, I can absolutely see Whoopi nailing this role.
Yep.
God, what was that one movie she was in? Something about Wheel of Time? Wrinkle in
Oh, I
Time.
did not watch that one. Was it good?
I think I don't remember if I actually watched it.
What about Prince Charming?
I think
Ooh.
he might be kind of old, but Brendan Gleeson.
Going forward, we're gonna have to change how we do this segment because I can't pull people up fast enough.
We can send them to you then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can kind of see him as a king. I thought somebody like Nicholas Holt as the king, but short because, as I said, Lord Fuckwad from Shrek.
Didn't you cast him in our last thing.
I did. I cast him in Dreamers Do Lie.
You're giving him too much work.
No, it was... Was it that one? Or was it someone we wanted to punch in the face?
I think it was in Dreamers Do Lie.
Okay.
Because he had a punchable face.
Well, I think that's...
That's right, yes. Because he had a very punchable face.
That's why I wasn't sure if it was someone from the last one. Because there was that guy that we hated. Preston?
Wow. I know which guy you're talking about. I just don't remember his name.
I think it was Preston.
Maybe.
Yeah, Preston has the
Probably,
gun.
yeah.
Of course he fucking does, with my note. So yeah, it was Preston.
Maybe it was Preston.
I feel like that's who.
Because he has a punchable face.
Yeah. And if not, he should be Preston. Because it looks perfect for him. Alright.
Oh, we have to cast Aaron, then I'd say we're good.
Oh, yeah.
I just had a
She's
thought about
like
the king.
relevant. Mm-hmm.
Because I was thinking of who could be Luke, and I thought Donald Glover, but then I thought of Danny Glover as the king. He's older now, but maybe a couple years ago he could absolutely have been the king.
He would have been like the old version of the king before he decides to
Yeah.
retire himself.
Yeah. But absolutely Donald Glover as Luke, which is kind of sad because Luke isn't in it that much, so you're kind of wasting Donald Glover.
A lot of characters aren't in it that much, and they should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Donald Glover would be interesting because him and Zazie Beetz are in a show called Atlanta.
Oh. I've heard Atlanta's good. Still haven't gone around to watching it. Maybe one day.
Neither.
Is that show still on air? Because I know he was doing Atlanta around the same time he was doing Community? Question mark, which is why there wasn't a Community movie.
No, Community ended a long time ago.
Has it been gone that long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Atlanta's way more recent.
Oh, okay. Shows how much I pay attention.
Although Donald left after season 3, I think.
It was 2009 to 2015.
That's 10 years it's been off the air.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Atlanta. 2016 to 2022.
Oh, okay.
So it actually was around
I
the
didn't
time.
realize it had wrapped.
Yeah. Alright. I believe the last one is now our time to rate the book. And final thoughts.
Ooh. I vote
kind
Addie
of-
goes first.
I kind of feel like we should add a question. What didn't you like? Which we didn't add because Megan was here when we were coming up with the list.
I don't know if we need to add that because I think we're so vocal about the things
Yeah.
we like and don't like.
It just comes
Yeah.
out naturally.
Especially like
Right.
while we're going through like each scene. We're like,
Yeah.
"Ugh."
I have a lot of thoughts.
Alright, Addie, you're up first.
I really like the world building and the premise. It was horribly executed. And I felt like it was written for really young audience. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's like there's YA and then there's very, very, very YA. This is very, very, very YA. Very, very young. Do you have a final rating you would like to give it?
Thinking. For the premise alone, maybe 5.
I think that's fair.
I agree.
Peter, you seem to have thoughts, feelings, and opinions.
I have many thoughts. Buckle the fuck up. So I got 206 pages into it, and there were a handful of bits which, frankly, just were not very well written. Like when she's first on the cart with Luke, she's talking away to Luke, and then they're just at the shop. As opposed to the journey home, which is like, oh, it was a long journey home. It's at the shop here now. And another bit like that, which I noticed and I read through while we were discussing it, when Sophia falls through the roof and she goes into the dungeon and she talks to the person there, it's not until, like, at least for me, it's not until like 2 pages later when Sophia's like, I wondered who she was left in the desert, left in the dungeon. Like, there was no identifying who was left in the dungeon. It's like, is this a male voice? Is this a female voice? Who could this be in the dungeon? Because I thought it was Luke's wee boyfriend until I read, I wondered who she was left behind in the dungeon. I'm like, oh, okay, well, it clearly wasn't Luke's wee boyfriend. So that irked me. And just little things like that, like just things appearing when they needed to. I'm like, okay, coolsies, book logic. Having heard the end, I don't believe I will finish the story. Where it was going in my head was a lot more interesting. I thought it was going that Constance would be one of the fairy godmothers, because in the Disney version there's 3. And is there?
No, you're thinking Sleeping Beauty.
I am thinking Sleeping Beauty. I'm so sorry. So I thought Constance would be the fairy godmother, and she was testing Sophia to see if she would get the magic, and that would lead to the discovery that Cinderella was alive and was being kept in prison. And I didn't see that Manfred was Prince Charming. I didn't know that was going to happen, but I kind of don't care that much. So I just expected it to go somewhere way different than it did. Final rating. Is this out of 5, yeah?
10.
Out of 10.
Out of 10, okay. I feel like my score should reflect the fact that I haven't finished it. But I also can't ignore all the little twiddly bits that irked me.
Well,
So
if you want me to remind you of our scale, 1 star is I wouldn't have finished it if it wasn't for book club.
Okay.
So if you want, you could rate it as very low, because it doesn't sound like you would have finished it anyways.
I would have finished it depending
Yeah.
on where it went, but it just doesn't sound like something I care about, for want of a better term. Like, I was invested up to a certain point, but then it's like, oh, they bring Cinderella back and she's dead at that. It wasn't. I was not interested in where the story went after I found out where the story went. So I'm thinking probably around 3.5 to 4 stars. But I will add a big asterisk on the end of that. Did not finish.
Valid.
Alright, Jam, you're up.
I mean, my rating is going to be low because, like, many of the things Peter had listed, and I feel like the book had been building towards something grand, at least when I was reading it in the beginning, like the first half of it. I felt like it was building towards, like, this really grand finale, this grand ending, this huge takedown of the king and changing society, and it was all just rushed, like, extremely rushed. And, like, even the killing of the fairy godmother and Manfred happened within, like, 2 or 3 pages? I don't know. And it wasn't interesting to read about. And the romance between Constance and Sophia, like, right after Aaron, was, to me, so unnecessary. And even if it was somehow necessary, it wasn't executed well. It was just, like, this whirlwind fairy tale romance. It's like I just fell in love with this next girl I saw who happens to be interested in me, and we're both gonna take down the king. Like, sure. And honestly, there was not a lot that I enjoyed in the book. Like, again, I enjoyed more towards the beginning than anything in the middle or the end, and even the beginning wasn't like that well done. So I'm giving it a 4.
I have to say,
What about-
3 or 4.
3 or 4. Alright.
What about you,
Let's
Victoria?
go
Where
3.
do you stand on it?
I have to say, coming into this, I was so nervous because I really did not like the book. And I was like, if they love it and I'm just sitting here being a hater, I'm gonna feel so bad. I was prepared to sit here and like try not to talk as much as I could because I was like, if they like it, I don't want to ruin it for them. But I really did not like it. Like, I was angry at it at a few points because it just was not well done. I was also really disappointed because, like I said at the beginning, like, it has been on my list for a long time to read, and I was excited to read it. Even though I didn't know a lot about it, other than it was, like, a queer black female main character retelling-ish of Cinderella. Like, that was enough to get me on board. I was so hyped. I was so excited. I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. And then for it to disappoint me, I was just like, how could you? How could you do this to me? I don't know. And I feel like I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to books. Like, as long as I enjoy the ride, like, I'm all for it. I don't know if you guys remember last month where I said that sometimes when you read a debut novel, you can tell it's a debut novel. And I didn't know how to describe it, but I feel like this book is a perfect example of you can tell it's a debut novel that isn't done very well. Because she had so many good ideas. It's just, like, I think it just needed to be edited a little more. And just, like, it could have been, like, 100, 200 pages shorter. Like, it did not need to be almost 400 pages. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And, like, she just kind of, like, I don't know if it's, like, a new author thing. Like, she just fucking threw everything at the wall. And nothing really stuck. Like, if something had stuck and been like, oh, that's a... Because I'm like you. I was very excited for, like, a retelling of the story and, like, wee lesbians falling in love and whatnot and fighting against the system. But that element just didn't work. It fell really flat in my humble opinion. Yeah.
I guess it's like the lack of exploration in her own world. Like, she's talked about these things that exist, and that's it. It's like, we know it exists, and you don't go through it more. Like, she's brought up that the other fairy tales exist. Like, Sleeping Beauty's there. So, and she says, like, there's other witches, other fairy godmothers in the forest. So it's like, what happened? What's going on?
So at first...
That is a question. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. So when that first came up, I was actually wondering if that was her way of, like, laying the groundwork to do more novels in that universe. But, like, her next book is called This Poison Heart. I don't think it has anything to do with, like, another kind of, like, retelling or whatever. So I thought that that's what it was supposed to do, was, like, open up, like, oh, we're going to be exploring more of this universe through a different fairy tale.
Yeah.
Maybe she did that and I just haven't looked into it enough. But... And then just, like, some of the dialogue just was so clunky. And every character talked the same. Like, they didn't have their own personalities. Even this witch, who has allegedly been secluded for 200 years, she's talking exactly like the teenagers are. She's not...
There's this one... Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, there's this one scene, like, with Constance and Amina talking together, and, like, you know, this whole fairy tale is, like, not in a modern age, but then Constance says, like, make it make sense, Amina. I'm like, what? Yeah. That, like, ripped me out of, like, I mean, not that I was at all invested in the book, but, like, I had to pause there and just put the book down.
Well, like, one of my examples of the clunky dialogue was, like, the witty one-liners between Constance and Almina, where it's just, like, it just didn't work. It was, like, they were both trying to be sarcastic, but in the exact same way to each other. And there was just, like, there was just no personality. It just...
So nobody was getting, like, the upper hand in that conversation or anything?
No. Here, I think I even wrote... Oh, I only wrote page 26, but I think maybe it was 262. Because that's when I... Oh, here. Sophia's talking like, oh, I had a hard time sleeping. You should have given me the sleeping potion. And Almina's like, oh, it brings nightmares, the kind that'll haunt you. Sophia's like, okay, never mind, I say. You should have turned them into mice, Constance says. Maybe next time, Amina says.
Oh, man.
Like, it's just, like, not great dialogue. Like, it could have been better. And I think
Yeah.
I'm only like so worked up because like it has such potential, and I think she is a good author. She just needs someone to come in and like trim off some shit and be like, "Hey, try rewording this so it sounds like actual people talking," and give them some like personality in the way that they speak, because they all sound the fucking same.
That made me think of another thing that happened early in the book when they get to the... And Sophia's like, oh, I've got a vial of what potion, and she takes half, and Erin takes half.
Yeah.
That goes fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
That's literally just, they take the potion.
Well, at some point, like the fairy godmother mentions, like, yeah, we know of this woman who's pretending to be a fairy godmother, make potions, and if she was real, she would have been dealt with by King Manfred, but she's just selling, I think she says cow piss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sophia's like, oh no, I shared some cow piss with Erin.
It's just like so unnecessary. Like, it's just, I don't know. So yeah.
I did wonder about the world building, because in this world where the Cinderella story exists, who wrote it? Where did it come from? And are there other fairy tales?
So there was like the palace approved, so Manfred wrote it.
But who wrote the original one?
I think like the one that Constance has.
Copied it. Yeah.
I think that one was probably by the stepsisters. Or maybe
like to pass down
know.
to their
Yeah.
generations so they don't forget the story.
I think so.
It's like a diary, then it's kind of weird that it matches up with like a published book.
Yeah, because like, how did he get a copy of it? And if he got that copy, why didn't he destroy it so there's no other version?
Yeah. I believe in our world it's the Brothers Grimm who wrote it, so do they exist in this world?
Maybe.
Was it the Brothers Grimm? Hans Christian Andersen? I forget exactly who it was. I'm sure it was Brothers Grimm. I'm gonna put this penny on it being Brothers Grimm.
Alright.
Also, like, another thing about the book, I felt like, because I thought it would go like more towards the Brothers Grimm version of it because it's kind of like spooky, and I just felt like it was all over the place. Like, it tried to be a fairy tale, it tried to be mature with like the content and like what it's talking about, and then nothing mixed well together.
I don't know if I made this up in my head, but I thought at some point they mentioned like kind of a Brothers Grimm type of people in the book, but they were sisters.
Did they?
I don't remember that.
I think I just made it up as I was reading.
I mean, it would make sense if there was. I just don't remember. But also, I was speed reading.
Maybe you started making up a better book, Addy.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to also read like the synopsis of this Poison Heart. I don't think it's like another fairy tale-esque thing.
Sophia's last name is Grimmins. I don't know if that was it.
Oh, that's gross.
Sophia Grimmins.
So yeah, I think I was like fluctuating between like 4 and 6 stars. I think I'm landing on 4 because I'm just so disappointed.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So
Addy gave it the highest with 5.
yeah,
And Jam gave it the lowest.
3.
2,
Yeah.
3.
I was willing to go with 6, like, if you guys had enjoyed it and, like, convinced me there was something I missed. The highest I would have gone was 6.
Me too. That's why I was, like, fluctuating between 4 and 6. I was like, I'm landing on 4. The more we talk about it, the more I'm set on a 4.
Yeah.
The thing that kind of blows me is how recommended it was everywhere.
Yeah. Like, people, like, were talking about it so much. Like, it absolutely blew up on TikTok. And usually the books that end up on my For You page on TikTok are really good. So, I don't know what happened with this one. I don't know. I'm sad.
What's the overall score? Like a 4?
I think it was 4 overall.
I think it averages to about 4 because I was 3.5/4 stars and
Yeah.
you were 3, and I think
was 4.
the average is about 4
Yeah.
ish.
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Damn.
Also, I want to say, like, if we come across a book where, like, one person likes it and everyone else hates it, like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Be honest.
Yeah.
I want to know the tea.
I know.
Don't hold back.
I know. I was so worried. I was like, I just didn't want to shit on something, and someone's like, really, really liked it, and I'm like, actually, slam, it's awful. You know?
In the book club, we all fam.
All right. Are you ready?
So, are we going to spin the wheel now? Because February is a little bit up in the air, I believe.
Is it?
I mean, y'all.
Addie said she couldn't make February.
I think so. I also only have one weekend I can do in February. I think we should still try.
Okay, I'm up for it.
I don't mind.
All right.
Are we going to spin the Great Wheel?
Yeah.
Yes, we love a Great Wheel.
You guys are ready? I'll try not to spoil it for you guys this time. If I remember the command. Is it just spin?
It could be just spin.
Yeah.
Oh, we're off. My stream is on a bit of a delay.
Oh?
I have to wait for you guys to
Sticking with
react.
that?
Sorry?
Oh, I said, are we sticking with that?
With Addie? No, we'll respin.
I picked this poison heart.
Addie,
Don't
please.
put me through that.
Hold on. Hold on, please.
Victoria's running away. She hates that idea so much. See, I'm kind of in two minds about this because I love the idea of somebody having to pick for like 7 months in a row.
That'd be torture.
But hilarious.
I think last time we said we were just gonna spin till someone who hasn't picked picks.
Well, that's literally just me.
And Victoria.
Oh my god. No, Victoria
I've
picked.
seen
Victoria
that
picked,
a lot.
Dreamers Do Life.
No,
I
that was like a
I didn't pick it.
collective thing when we first started.
Oh. Spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel.
Is it
Really?
Adam?
It's
Oh my God.
rigged.
Get her off the board. No, I'm joking.
Does she have another book I could pick?
Why do you hate us?
God, I hope not.
Bro, I'm gonna... Hey, this is...
What's going on?
What?
I swear
Okay, listen.
I've done tests.
Wheels like
Hey, well, I've got a coin here. Should we do a coin cost for me and Victoria?
do it.
Alright.
Okay, so one side is this is from the movie Extra Life. One side
Okay.
is heads. The other side is Extra Life. Which side do you want?
I'll take Extra Life.
Okay, so I am heads. Best of three?
No, I'll just do one.
Okay, one. Oh, it's heads.
Peter, you know what this
Alrighty.
means?
That's me. Is that me or you?
That's you. But
No,
do
it's
you
me.
do you know
That's
what this do you know what this means?
What does this mean?
You actually have to finish the book.
Oh my god, yeah. I didn't realize that.
Then you
Okay.
gotta walk us through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're leading the
Okay.
next meeting.
I actually kind of have two books I'm kind of torn between. Should I tell you what they are?
Well, you were supposed to come prepared with it.
I am prepared. I just don't know which one I want. I thought I'd pick in the moment, but the moment is
Hey,
so...
Flip.
Okay. Okay. Fuck, it's gone.
Which
Okay.
one are we reading?
We are reading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, the first book.
Ooh.
It started that so long ago, and then I lost the book.
I'm excited. I've been wanting to read this.
I think you'll like it. I can give a little bit of brief description from memory. It's Arthur is an ordinary man on Earth, and then Earth is destroyed, and stuff happens.
I love it.
That's my description of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Only the first book, because you can get like packs of all 5 books and whatnot. So if you want to read further, please feel free. But officially, only the first book, Part 1, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, is my choice for this month.
Nice.
I doubt we're going to get Douglas Adams on, as he died in like the year 2000. But
Oh, damn.
You never know.
Get a shovel and a couple of flashlights. Or just get a necromancer.
I was thinking that.
I knew you. I felt that.
I was like, what if we actually just bring him back like we did Cinderella?
Yeah.
For like a minute.
Alright.
So are we all in favor of that?
Yeah.
Not anybody has a choice. It's chosen. It's done.
I'm excited about it. That's a good pick, Peter.
Thank you. The other one was Red Dwarf, Infinity Welcomes Careful Drivers, which is kind of a sci-fi comedy book. Similar to Hitchhikers, but absolutely nothing like it.
Nice. Well, that's the end of book club.
We're done.
It only
Yay,
took us
good job,
3
everyone.
hours.
How long did the last one take? Are we getting longer with each
I think
episode?
I believe we are.
I think we are.
This was definitely the longest.
I believe the first one with Megan was like just under 2 hours, just over 2 hours.
Yeah, I think that's because we were trying to be
Including the commercial break.
we were being respectful of her time.
Yeah.
But yeah, hold on, I can pull it up. Let me just.
I also feel like this is the one we've had the most thoughts about post-reading.
This is.
It was all the rage.
Yeah, we really needed the therapy of it.
Yeah.
So.
Let me ask a little question though. Are you okay, Addy, that we kind of shit all over your book? You okay, buddy?
I'm fine. Wish it
Promise?
was a better book, but
That's okay. Your next pick will be amazing.
Or else.
Or not. That's fine if it isn't.
I'm hoping those Tomes and Tea books are good.
Yeah, me too.
The first one turns out like this.
I'm gonna be so sad. It's been sitting here ready to be my pick now for 2 meetings. It's so sad. It's so lonely, guys. Look at it. It's right here. I was like, oh, I should put it away. And then I was like, no, I'll leave it there. And anyways.
Oh, is yours also sprayed edges?
Yeah. I got it from Target when I went in Buffalo.
I bought one from Waterstones.
In England, in Scotland.
I imported that shit.
Ooh.
Is yours this color or is yours nicer?
What's the title of yours? Yeah.
This one's Can't Spell Treason Without Tea.
Okay, so I have like a different title, but it's
Yeah.
red with like yellow dragons.
Nice.
It's a side copy,
What?
but I haven't cracked it open yet because I'm scared.
I was like, I hate that they chose this color of all the colors. It doesn't go with the cover.
It's not terrible.
It's
I kinda
awful.
like it. Okay.
Kind of hard to see with the
Yeah.
blur, but from what we see, it looks good.
Well, because like the cover is like nice, like yellows, oranges, browns, and they've picked fucking
it's
teal
warm.
for the edges. It doesn't match.
Personally, love orange and blue matched together.
Not
You're just
this
a hater.
one. I am. This person should be fired.
Yeah.
I'm in a hateful mood after that book, okay? Anyways, the last run times, the first with Megan was 2 hours, 11 minutes, 19 seconds. There were 3 women and 4 men was 2 hours, 37 minutes, 35 seconds.
Good God.
We're currently
Welcome
at
back on, gang.
3 hours, 21 minutes, and 27 seconds. So,
Eventually
means I
it'll be
need-
like an all-day thing.
Yeah. I need to make Hitchhikers last like 4.5 hours. I
Yeah.
can do that.
you know, maybe as we do more of these, we'll get more concise.
Yeah.
Who knows? Because, you know, we are blowing through the question portion, so that's good.
Yeah.
It's all the other stuff, because we got lots of thoughts and opinions, you know? It's fine. So we have Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or are you good?
Good.
I think that's it.
All right. Do we want to raid Wolf?
Was Wolf on?
Let me just. Yep, Wolf is in the middle of playing. I don't know if he's about to.
Oh, he's with Ghost. He's playing with Ghost.
Yeah. Last time I raided him, he was about to end his stream, and then he couldn't end.
Oh no.
So we'll see if we do that again. In the meantime, thank you everyone for coming and hanging out with us. That's the info for book club. I should add the social links to that Google Doc, just to have it all in one place. If you want to take part in the next one, join the Discord. It's now in the chat. If you're watching the VOD of this and you want to join, you gotta find the link to Discord, I guess. I don't know how to help you.
It'll be fun.
I mean, you have the Discord link in your...
Do I?
think. You used to.
Oh, yeah, I do. So, yeah, just go from YouTube to my Twitch to Discord, and you'll get there eventually, and we'll welcome you in a way nicer way than the way I just said that. But, yeah, follow Tea and Tales socials. I think Blue Sky is going to be the one that we put the most effort into, because skies are bluer over there, and Instagram is confusing.
Yep.
That's all I got. We're gonna go. Oh, also, I should shout you guys out. I'm not typing. Alright, Jam, do you want to say a thing about you?
Yeah, I call myself a streamer, but I haven't streamed in over a year. One day I'll get back to it. I lie a lot, apparently, so. Sometimes I draw. I also haven't drawn in, like, a year. But you know what? Shit's been happening.
Yeah.
I'll get back to it. I'm cool.
Get off Jam's ass, people.
Jam's so cool.
I'm so cool.
She'd be cooler if she streamed, but...
She would.
Okay.
That's true.
Damn.
I've been waiting a year and a half for Jam to open her commissions again because I need some more emotes and shit.
Oof, I got customers.
Yeah.
And I've just
We're
been hiding
banging
in
on
the corner.
We're all, like, peeking in the windows, like, excuse me, ma'am. We need stuff.
We have some art, please.
We want to throw money at you. Alright, Peter, you're up next.
If the author of this book does happen to read this, hi. We'd love to know your thoughts about our thoughts.
You're supposed to be shouting yourself out.
Shout out your
I do shit and stuff. I do things.
stream.
I do stream. I've been streaming a lot more lately, but also not as much as I could or should. I'll get to it. Life's hard, okay?
You stream the most out of all of us. There's that.
You're so consistent.
He also has a radio show. Or
I do.
Podcast,
Mostly.
whatever we call it. I don't know anymore. Anyways.
The thing. It's just a thing.
Alright. Addie, you're next.
I have 0 to shout out because I'm not really on socials anywhere. But you can follow Tea and Tales anywhere.
Which Addie is mostly in charge of.
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah, except Twitter. Fuck Twitter. We tried, kind of. But yeah, Addie's our amazing social media manager. So go follow her there. And if you're watching the VOD, everything is linked in the description. See, look, I did it! I'm a professional!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yay me.
Except he's mostly just pointed at Addie.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's fine.
We tried.
I could
But
here.
below Addie.
Or if I point there, it's Peter. See, look, I did it first try. I'm amazing.
Where am I? Am I pointing at
See?
you?
No.
No.
No,
Other way.
wait.
Other way.
Other way.
There you go.
Other
Touch fingers
corner.
like touch fingers like E.T.
There we go.
Yay. You can't see because of my blur. Tickle, tickle.
Oh my god.
Can't see, but my finger's in the corner too.
Jam, join in.
No.
Jam.
I'm too cool.
Jam.
Come on, Jam. E.T. fingers us, Jam. Come on now.
Imagine it.
No. Do it.
How would you know I'm doing it?
Yeah, I know. You could have just said you did it, and this would have ended like 5 minutes ago.
I did it.
Yeah. You're trustworthy, Jam. We believe you.
All right.
I'm pointing to a corner.
All right, we're rating
Lie to your
Wolf.
friends, would you?
I would.
Thanks everyone for joining. Thank you guys for being here. We're gonna raid our friend Wolf.
Yay.
All right,
Bye.
I'm switching over. Goodbye.